funny line.
Yeah, that is funny. His only role. I mean, it's amazing how many, and not Leah Thompson that plays the younger mom, but his girlfriend, I cannot say her name. That was her only role too, wasn't it? The girl that plays Jennifer, I think is her name.
Yeah, so
Claudia Wells.
Claudia Wells in the original film, and then in parts 2 and 3, portrayed by Elizabeth Shue.
That's right. I knew Elizabeth Shue took over, but in the first one, it was a different actress, and that's her only role. Like, there are a lot of, as classic as that movie is, there are a lot of people that was it for them. I mean, really, outside of Michael J. Fox, Leah Thompson had a pretty good career, I guess. I mean, she was in some sitcoms and stuff like that, but outside of Michael J. Fox, it wasn't really like a star maker, that movie.
Nope. Tom Arnold was in Freaks and Geeks later on in the 90s, which was very well received and critically acclaimed, but that was only one season.
Yeah. See, I think Biff is my answer.
Hey, there is one celebrity birthday that you missed, though.
Who?
The head ball coach. It's Steve Spurrier.
He's 81 today, isn't he?
That's crazy. I think that he's that old.
Yeah, I know. I think he's 81, the head ball coach. I saw that. It was not on famousbirthdays.com. I did see it later on today, though, Scott. But that is not fourth down. We did not do Steve Spurrier for fourth down.
Oh, Jody Colley brings up a great best character in the chat. Marvin Berry.
No, it's his cousin.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's Chuck Berry's
Chuck Berry, that's right. Yeah,
cousin, Marvin Berry.
Yeah, but he has to clear it up on the phone. Chuck, it's your cousin, Marvin.
Marvin
Berry. Everybody do the math now. I'm talking to Chuck Berry. I'm like, I don't think you needed to clear that up. I think we do.
Fourth down.
This day in 1993, New Kids on the Block formed. Give me a boy band song you like more than you should. Or a boy band you like more than you should.
I mean, I grew up on the Backstreet Boys, so I mean, like, I was in I don't know, kindergarten through third grade during their heyday.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of Backstreet Boys being pumped out by my girl cousins during that time. So
okay, so you're a Backstreet Boys guy. I mean,
yeah, I know like all the songs.
You're not even ashamed to admit it. Tyler, boy band song you like more than you should.
I'm struggling because I was not a Backstreet Boys guy. That was a little bit before my time. Wasn't into NSYNC. But I will go with I Want It That Way because I saw a funny video of a guy working on the mental illness ward in a hospital, and some of the inmates started singing it from their rooms at 2 a.m. It's a funny video.
Is it? I mean, what are they? Is it just like, what are they acting something out?
Nope, they're just singing, and the orderly is filming.
Yeah. This is legit. I mean, this is real.
And then the orderly start singing with them.
I want to know. Okay, all right. Scott, boy band song you like more than you should.
I don't know that I like it at all, but I can still hear it in my head. That Bye Bye Bye. NSYNC. Yeah, NSYNC.
Yep.
I worked at a music store in the Galleria, back when that was released. And we had to do it might have been like a midnight opening to for that album when it dropped.
Midnight release at Coconuts.
It was Sam Goody.
Sam Goody.
Oh, okay.
The music video was pretty.
Oh no!
Great
Yeah,
with
the dance,
the puppeteer.
Yeah, yeah. And the dance still lives today.
And everything was chrome.
Yeah. What about Mbop by Hanson? I'll admit that I like that song a little more.
They still tour.
Oh, I know. My wife saw them, was it last summer? I think she saw Hanson. And she's like, literally, they did Mbop twice and then a bunch of songs I had never heard. I think they were at Workplace.
They're one-hit wonder for sure.
Yeah.
I'll say best song by Backstreet Boys, in my opinion, is Larger Than Life. It's
I love
Gear all in one place, nextround.store. From our Next Round hats to the logo tees to the all-time best-selling Y'all Can Have the Rest shirt, you can look your best by shopping with us at nextround.store. Take the next round anywhere with nextround.store. Next Round shirts, Next Round hoodies, and Next Round hats all in one place, nextround.store. Find your favorite piece of gear from your favorite show and put it in your rotation. You never know, you might be in one of our videos showing Next Round gear being worn all over the world. Find all of your favorite Next Round gear by visiting nextround.store. Place an order for you and that big Next Round fan in your life at nextround.store. Look your best at work, at school, at the stadium, or anywhere you go wearing Next Round gear from nextround.store.
I'm attorney Alexander Shinar, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
All right, it's our Tuesday show. Next round, I'm Ryan Brown. The entire back room is here. Tyler, Scott, and Brooks. Dunaway continuing his 30-day vacation. Lance Taylor continuing his tour of Europe, his European vacation. That leaves me. All you got's me right now. But we got a lot to get to today. The college basketball portal officially closes at midnight. Jeff Goodman, Field of 68, reports 2,500 names. 2,500 plus names are in there right now. It's insane. So we'll discuss what has happened with Alabama and Auburn, some of the SEC schools. Did an ESPN writer give Georgia the biggest insult possible, and could he possibly be right in that insult? We will discuss that. A lot of college football to get to, and who would you compare Ty Simpson to in the NFL, either now or historically as a quarterback? We will tackle all of that. But we have a special treat for you in hour number one. Since I'm solo here, and I sucked so bad yesterday, Tom Luginbill said, you got to have help, man. You got to have help. You're not good by yourself. So Luginbill has agreed to do hour number one with us today to completely save this show and maybe keep us in business. Lugs, what is up, man? How are you?
How are you, man? I was fired up, man. I love doing this, getting a little off-season work with y'all, especially when those two quitters you work for decide to just walk away and act like, sports has a vacation element to it. I ain't been on vacation in 21 years.
Your life's a vacation.
Well, I would hope that to be the case here in the next couple of years, but we'll have to wait and see. So basically right now, Lance is driving around in circles going, hey, look, kids, Big Ben.
Parliament.
Hey, look, kids, Big Ben.
Yeah. It's European vacation. I love vacation, and I love Christmas vacation.
European, no bueno.
I liked it okay. It just wasn't. It doesn't live up to me to the other ones.
I'm with you. Where's Jim?
He's on 30A somewhere. I think the Blue Mountain Beach, Santa Rosa Beach area of 31.
Man.
To be specific.
Okay, so when is it your turn?
Oh, I've got some coming up. Don't you worry. They're going to pay for it.
You don't want to spill? You don't want to divulge?
They're going to pay for this one. Well, part of my issue is my oldest daughter is entering her senior year in college, and she's going to school throughout the summer. And there's some days that we don't know about just yet, so we're waiting for those days to solidify before we make our official summer plans.
Dude, I'm going through all that right now. I'm about to be an empty nester. My daughter's about to go into college. My son's about to start his redshirt sophomore season, and I'm about to have the most financially, fiscally strapping year I've ever had in my life for two reasons. Number one, it's my 25th wedding anniversary on July the 8th.
Yeah.
And number two, my wife turns 50 in October.
Oh, yeah.
So,
both those hitting at the same time. That's tough.
Oh, dude, you ain't kidding, brother. You ain't kidding. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Kick through the UFL right here, and spring football just ended. Head into the summer, and then I'll leave that life of Riley you just referenced earlier.
Yeah, that's right. You need that. Everybody needs some of that. So we'll get to a lot of that. Obviously, Luginbill referenced it. He's with the ESPN crews doing the UFL. The Stallions, in fact, are our first sponsor on the show. So I will naturally segue into a Stallions read quickly because they are coming off an unfortunate loss over the weekend.
Yeah.
But they are back in Birmingham for another home game. A.J. McCarron said, completely embarrassing, unacceptable, will never happen again. This Friday night, Stallions football is back. It is Birmingham versus D.C. at Protective Stadium. $3 beers, $3 hot dogs all game long. Kickoff at 7. You can get your tickets, UFLstallions.com, UFLstallions.com. A little background, Tyler, in the back room. We had two bracket challenges. We had one for this room that I lost, like normal. And we had one for the back room that Tyler lost. Tyler, tell Tom Luginbill what your punishment is.
So in the course of one live show, I have to eat 9 hot dogs and drink 9 beers.
Wait, 9 hot dogs in what, 3 hours?
Yeah.
Yep.
And 9 beers.
And 9 beers.
Yeah. But, as I was pointing out, I mean,
are they pints or are they 12 ounce?
Oh, we're going with 12 ounces.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. As I pointed out to him, Luginbill, with the Stallions doing $3 beer, $3 hot dogs, I mean, $54, I would let him knock it out at the Stallions game, but I'm not in charge here.
Well, no. Well, you got to make sure you have to have some oversight. You have to have some quality control here. He can't just be left to his own devices to be trusted that he would get it done correctly. I think this has to be under heat lamp, like Newman on Seinfeld, right? I mean, this thing's got it. God, you know what? This is going to sound so bad, but like, if this wasn't a challenge and this wasn't a punishment for a lost bet, how many of us have just gone out and routinely drank 9 beers before 3 hours is up and never even thought about it?
9 hot dogs. That's a kicker, though. I don't think a lot of people have done 9 hot dogs.
It's not the hot dog. It's the bread. That's the problem.
Yeah. You got to eat the bun,
bread.
too, right? It's bread and everything.
Oh, yeah. I think I might have to Joey Chestnut it, dunk the hot dog in the beer to wolf it down. Hey, if I've got to do it and it's got to be on camera, everybody else is subjected to it.
Oh, so disgusting.
Yeah, there's got to be a Tyler cam.
Yeah, Tyler Cam.
Or you just every now and then you just pop him on to see what he's up to.
See if he's vomited yet, which is always a possibility.
That's great.
All right, so as we do every single day, we talk college football. Luginbill with us. We're going to talk a ton of college football. So let's just call this entire hour our Shannara Spotlight, our college football spotlight.
The College Football Spotlight.
Presented by our guy, Alexander Shannara. Shannara Trial Attorneys, more than 25 years in Birmingham. He's grown his practice to more than 150 lawyers, supported by more than 500 dedicated team members. They've recovered more than $2 billion for their clients, maintaining some core values: integrity, mastery, passion, and success. That is our guy, Alexander Shannara. When you're in need for an attorney for any reason, Shannara.com, Shannara.com. You don't pay a dime unless they win your case. With Alexander Shannara Trial Attorneys, Shannara.com. All right, the Shannara Spotlight College Football, obviously spring games wrapping up, Luke's. You've been over in the NFL, but I know you watch a lot of film as well. The importance of these spring games, like they used to feel more important. We were talking yesterday with your colleague there, Dusty Dvorak, who was on the show. These things were on life support maybe a year ago, but they've made a little bit of a comeback.
They have. The reality of the spring game is it is the least important day of your 15 days that you get on the field. Those coaches are to a point where they're saying, here's the head coach. Offense, super simple. Defense, super simple. Let's play as many young guys as we can and get the hell out of there without an injury. That's what the spring game is. And if you could video or film the previous 14 days of practice and watch those, that's where you would know where a team is at and who's going to be playing and who's going to be expected to make contributions, because the spring game itself is, I don't want to call it a waste of time, but coaches just want to get out of there without an injury, and they know they got to do it. It's a necessary evil.
It used to be, these things used to be highly attended. The UFL being a spring lead has taken the TV window away from some of them. So they're not televised much anymore. I don't think coaches really, the portal coaches did not want them televised, I don't think. I think they wanted it as limited as possible. But the elimination of the spring portal. Now, I asked Dvorak about this because there has been some talk of going to the NFL model. How do you think college football coaches feel about just moving these to more like the mini camps in the summer, maybe 3 summer mini camps before you get together for fall camp altogether?
Oh my goodness, I would love that. I think the coaches would love it too, to have an opportunity to, and keep in mind too, you can't go into the portal, but there are still players in the portal, and there are still players that are going to be signed out of that portal, and they would be able to have an opportunity to have kind of a mini camp or a rookie camp or what have you with the football team and get the guys back on the field, even if you just did it in helmets and shells and you didn't do full pads. I would love that. I would also love for those teams to have the opportunity to do it with another team. And whether that's an FCS opponent within your state, whether that's a group of 5 opponent, whoever it may be, to get some work against other people. Again, you're going to have people push back on that now, not so much so 10 years ago, because of the transfer portal and because of tampering and guys, being able to see guys on the field against their football team for a few days. But no, I would love the OTA model. I would love the mini camp model to add. And maybe you get it done in that 3rd week of June, if you will. You've started summer workouts. You've got your whole team there. If guys are in school, they're already there. Nobody goes home in the summer anyway. It's a year-round commitment. So to me, I think it would make the team better. I think it would make teams more prepared for fall camp. But what I like most about all of this discussion that we're having is nobody can leave. I don't know if you saw Brent Key and some of his comments at Georgia Tech this past week, and a reporter asked him a really smart question just about the fact that, the next day after spring football ends, you don't have to go sit down with 100 guys and ask them if they're leaving or try to convince them not to leave. This is your team now, and it's going to make college football better. It's going to make teams more prepared for week one. It's going to make teams better going into fall camp because the revolving door has shut. And I think that's going to benefit everybody.
Yeah, I mean, the spring portal, I guess, was initially a necessary evil, but was always a problem. I mean, that was always going to be a problem in football, the spring portal. It was just a disaster for roster management. So that going away is a step in the right direction. Like, we're never going to be without a portal, but losing the spring portal is a step in the right direction, no doubt.
Well, and keep in mind, too, what happens in spring football and through winter workouts, leading up to spring football is you're going to have a lot of your young kids, your freshmen, your redshirt freshmen, your true sophomores, your redshirt sophomores. They're going to see the writing on the wall real quick, right? And they're going to come out of that 15 days and they're going to go, I'm not playing here. Boom. They up and leave. Well, now you've actually got a legitimate opportunity to develop and retain those guys, continue to get them integrated, find out what their competitive temperament is, how hard do they want it, are they willing to go out and beat somebody out? And if you have that now where you maybe didn't have that, previously, it's going to help your football team. It's going to help your depth. It's going to help you late in that last third of the season, because that's the thing that, that's a long year, man. And you start getting into that, you got the 4-game window for redshirting, but you start getting into that last third of your season and you are plumb tuckered out, dude. Like, you're going to need those young kids. And those young kids that might not have been playing in that first quarter or first half of the season are all of a sudden going to find themselves in a 2-deep role. And now that player, name any guy, that player whose first thought was to leave coming out of spring football and didn't, is now playing for you. And guess what? Now maybe that player doesn't want to leave. And maybe now that player is somebody that has earned the right to get paid a little bit of money, and you do what you can to retain him. And instead of that player going to another roster, that player is now sticking with your program because over time he starts to realize, oh, okay, I've found a role here. I've battled, I've competed, and now this team needs me. Those are positives. Yeah,
I mean, there's no doubt about that. And it is again, like I said, a step in the right direction. We still got a long way to go to clean this up, but at least eliminating that gave us a little more sense of comfort, I guess. I mean, we're at least kind of back to where coaches can still go through spring and not have to worry about the result of that, right? Of the result.
Well, you know who your team is.
Yeah, exactly.
You know that over course of 15, that you know that the reserve young player on your roster that you gave 30 second team snaps to is going to be involved in that mix in August.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah, huge. I would say right now, and this is I'm just using this kid as an example, but a guy like Deuce Knight, when he transferred to Ole Miss in the fall portal or the winter portal, whatever that's called, the Trinidad Chambliss eligibility was still up in the air. Deuce Knight was potentially the starter at Ole Miss. Well, in the meantime, that's gotten nailed down. Well, Deuce Knight would be a candidate to say, hey, look, I'm probably not going to start now. I'd like to go somewhere I could start. And all of a sudden now Pete Golding doesn't have the quarterback depth he thought he had.
Exactly.
And now Deuce Knight Deuce Knight's going to be the back. And by the way, backup quarterback was pretty important to Ole Miss last year.
Pretty darn important.
Yeah.
And whether that young guy realizes it or not, it's going to be the best thing to happen to him.
Yeah. Yeah.
It really is. Over the course of time, it will be the best thing to happen to him.
Yeah. Deuce Knight's got a year in that system and could potentially, be the starter next year when Trinidad Chambliss is off to the NFL. So, it's fascinating to watch. But I do feel like, this thing's getting a little bit cleaned up, and it has helped spring football. Coming out of spring football, your colleague, Bill Connelly, ESPN's a big place, so when I say your colleague, that includes a lot of people. What I mean by that is...
especially on the .com side.
Yeah. What I mean by that is Bill works for ESPN, just like Luginbill does. And he had some, I've got 5 teams he had questions about coming out of spring football. And I'm going to run a version of these questions past Luginbill and get his thoughts on them. We'll do that in just 1 second. A reminder, Lance's lock every single day. Lance has a lock right now in the NBA playoffs and Major League Baseball. Lance'sLock.com, Lance'sLock.com. It is presented by our friends at Hemp Hill Services. If it doesn't run right, drain right, or flow right, Hemp Hill Services, the place to go. Give them a call, 205-229-2090. That is 205-229-2090 for our friends at Hemp Hill Services. It's about to start getting hot, so make sure that HVAC is ready to go and your air conditioner is kicking the way it should. Have Hemp Hill out to look at it right now so you don't have a problem when it's too late. 229-2090, 229-2090 for Hemp Hill Services and Odie's.
If you're looking for a great local lunch or dinner, stop in to Odie's Tavern. 2 locations, the original in Crestline, where we do Odie's Team Trivia every Wednesday night. Newer location right there in Edgewood on Broadway in Homewood. Get in, see Will Haver and that great staff. Enjoy food from Rodney Davis. Been doing it almost 4 decades now. Inside or outside, you can enjoy the great weather. Live music every Friday and Saturday nights. From the Diablo sandwich, the great burgers, the wings. Get in today, though. Go see Will Haver and that great staff. Birmingham Institution. It's Odie's Tavern.
All right, so Bill Connelly, ESPN. Bill kind of operates on the, I guess, kind of the stat side. He's a good guy at looking at stats and trends.
A lot
and
of
stuff
analytics.
like that. Yeah, analytics. Yeah, it's the best way of putting it, the analytics.
Yeah.
And translating that into words that we can read and understand. So based on that, Bill's got some questions about some of these teams. I'll just start right with where he started with Alabama. He asked what seems like an obvious question, but sometimes those questions need to be asked. Is Keelan Russell Alabama's most important player? That seems like an obvious question to ask about a quarterback. When you look at Alabama, would you say Keelan Russell is Alabama's most important player?
On the surface, the answer to that question is always yes. I would just say the quarterback position.
Right.
But I actually think for Alabama, it's a position group. It's the offensive line. Because they can't go through 2 years in a row of not being able to effectively run the football. It can't happen. And this is going to be a completely retooled group, almost across the board. So while yes, and I wouldn't, take Austin Mack out of that discussion just yet. But if it's going to be Keelan Russell, they're going to have a really good player at quarterback. But it's not like you're taking a redshirt junior and Ty Simpson, who'd been around, who'd been weathered, who'd gone through quarterback battles, who had kind of waited his turn and then all of a sudden got the opportunity, and he was older and he's more mature. You don't have that with Keelan Russell right now, right? You're gonna have youth, you're gonna have inexperience, and boy, would you love to have a healthy run game when that's what you have at quarterback, at least early on, until he gets his feet wet.
So, I mean, if all things are equal and you've got one quarterback that is a runner when necessary and one that we can design runs for, doesn't that just help the run game that you go with a guy? Well, look, this guy's got more designed runs. He's got more capability here, and that's going to help the overall run game.
Yeah, we've talked about this before. When your quarterback is a running threat, you have now put so much pressure on the defense because they have to account for the quarterback's legs all the time. And they're having to play 11 on 11 instead of 11 on 10. I do think that that's important. I think it will play a role. How significant, do you want to run your quarterback? Is it 10, 12 times a game? Is it 4 to 6 times a game? Is it to keep people honest? Or is it to be a staple, right? And I don't think anybody knows truly the answer to that question yet. But when the quarterback is a run threat, he changes the game.
I've pointed this out numerous times. As a head coach, the most productive run game Kalen DeBoer has ever had was with Jalen Milroe as quarterback, and I don't think that's accidental, obviously. Milroe is an exceptional running quarterback. I mean, those guys don't exactly come every year, right? Milroe was really good. Yeah, I mean, that Kirby Smart said famously after Alabama beat them in Tuscaloosa, he's like, they've got the best running back in America, and he can also throw the ball great, so I don't know what you do with him, But that was the best it ever got, or it has been for Kalen DeBoer as far as running the football, and that's not by accident, obviously.
Yeah, I think you can go all the way back to Sioux Falls, and then you can go to when he was the coordinator at Indiana, and he had Michael Penix. They've been a team that throws the football, that stretches the field, that pushes it vertically, that's heavy on play action. They play from under center as well as out of the shotgun. But I do think, to be honest with you, I really do believe that And, Mike Leach famously said, the term balance is a bunch of nonsense. Balance is what you do best. And if you're doing it well and it's working, you keep doing it. Right.
Yeah.
And so, but I do think that Kalen DeBoer would like to have the ability to run the football when they line up and run it, to have success doing it. Doesn't mean they have to become a power run football team, but they can't go backwards, right? You can't have the negative plays. You can't have the zero gain plays. Just have some sort of consistency is probably what their idea of balance is.
Let's move on. Oregon. Basically, the question Bill Conley asked about Oregon is, can they find what has been missing to make them a national championship team? So I guess we have to start with that question. What has been missing for Dan Lanning that gets them over that hump from perennial playoff team and Big Ten contender to national championship team? Can you identify something or a handful of things that you would say, boy, if just that thing weren't missing, they would be a championship level team?
I would probably say, and I think he's trying to build towards this, and everybody is. But I would probably say when it comes down to it, to have the 2 and 3 deep rotational depth in the defensive front to be a dominant football team is kind of what has separated those who've played for a national championship and won a national championship and those who have not. I think a lot of people feel, and I feel this way, that, that's what's held Lincoln Riley back, not just at SC, but at Oklahoma. And that's kind of what separates those teams. And not to say that Oregon's not been a really good defensive football team. They have. But for whatever reason, in those moments, they haven't played great football. And I didn't think that Dante Moore played his best football later on in the season. And as good as I think he is and as pure as I think he is, they're going to need him to play elite level football at elite level times.
It's just weird with Oregon, Lugs. As great as Dan Lanning has been there, they have been scalded in back-to-back playoffs. I mean,
I know.
It's just it's a weird. It's not like they're losing these games close, and you feel like they're that close. I mean, Ohio State ran them off the field in the Rose Bowl, and then Indiana ran them off the field in the Peach Bowl this year.
Yeah, and listen, those obviously those are 2 pretty darn good football teams, but the discrepancy in their talent base is not as wide as the point differential, right?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of when a lot of that happens too is when you get into the games like that, and this is kind of how professional football plays out because the margin of error is so razor thin, right? It doesn't become about who's necessarily better than the other team. It becomes about the mistakes that you don't make and playing error-free football. Like that's where Indiana was so much better than everybody else, is they never beat themselves. And they always made the right call. They didn't have negative plays. They weren't heavily penalized. They didn't turn the ball over. Like Indiana last year, I don't know if you knew this, went into the playoffs and had lost 1 fumble the entire year, and it came in the first half of the first game last fall. So when you get into those matchups, if you're talented and you don't beat yourself, that's kind of the separator.
I don't know if you saw, you probably did not over the weekend with your UFL work and everything you got going, but Ty Simpson was on Caleb Downs' podcast. Caleb Downs and his brother, they do a podcast.
Okay.
And he said, Caleb Downs asked him, he's like, what did you think about the Indiana game going on? He was like, man, it was crazy. You watch them on film, and you don't see anything exotic at all. You just see normal. But he's like, man, you get in the game and you think, all right, they're not going to be real exotic like I see every day in the SEC. He said, but let me tell you what they don't do is make mistakes. Like, they are perfect on every play, and it is so difficult to battle. Brian Haynes, the defensive coordinator, took exception to that. I think he thought Ty Simpson was criticizing him, but I'm like, man, to me, that's the ultimate compliment. Like, you don't have to be exotic. Don't be exotic.
Yeah, I think he took exception to it, maybe because, and I don't think Ty Simpson meant this, and I did hear the quote that, Indiana wasn't as talented as Alabama, and maybe in some areas that's true. But that's the ultimate X factor, right? That's the eraser. Is if somebody's better than you, you need them to screw it up, and then you have to play flawlessly. And I think Brian Haynes, their level of consistency, their effort, their production is probably maybe the best we've seen in 40 years of college football. I mean,
Yeah.
when have we seen a team play so, and nobody's ever flawless and nobody's ever perfect, but in the things that really matter, right? Third down defense, third down offense, turnover margin, penalties, all of that. They're the best team in college football. It wasn't even close.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. To me, I mean, I can't compliment them enough. They are just, I mean, what Kurt Cignetti is doing is just amazing to me. We've got 3 more teams to get to, a few more players I want to talk to Luginbill about, and we'll do that on the other side. As we go to break, they're talking about Rooster in the chat room. Have you watched this with Steve Carell? Have you watched Rooster yet?
I haven't. I've actually been off of HBO Max a little bit because I want to watch DTF. I want to watch Rooster, and I haven't gotten into them. I'm planning on it. I just haven't gotten there yet. I've heard it's good, though. I heard it's really funny.
Yeah. I've watched one episode, and I've been told, get past that one, it kind of builds things. But
yeah,
everybody I've talked to says Steve Carell that it is hilarious. DTF, universally agreed upon. They absolutely crashed the plane at the end, that it's a terrible ending.
Oh, they did?
Yeah,
okay.
That's what everybody's saying. Like, both Lance and Dunaway watched it, and both
I've heard mixed reviews.
Yeah,
I've heard that it's okay.
Yeah.
It almost doesn't know what it wants to be. Is it a comedy? Is it a mystery? What is it?
Yeah. They both, I think, really like the first 3 or 4 episodes, and after that, they're like, what are we doing here? So,
oh, really?
Yeah,
okay.
I think strong start, bad finish for DTF. But Rooster, I mean, they're talking about it in the chat room. It seems like everybody really likes it. So I'm going to give it another shot. I started Bad Decisions last night with Daniel Levy. Daniel Levy's hilarious. I mean, he is so funny. And I the best way I would describe it to you, and I think you watch both these shows, and my wife started this description and I finished it and we agreed this is what it is. It's almost Schitt's Creek meets Arrested Development. So I don't know if you watch both those shows. Yeah.
Oh, of course, absolutely. That's a great description. Okay, I'm in.
Yeah, now I'm in. I don't know if I say Schitt's Creek because of Daniel Levy. I don't know, but I feel it's a lot of Arrested Development. There's a lot of Arrested Development, maybe a little. I don't know. It's just. I think that's a good description.
I just got back into starting the 2nd season of Your Friends and Neighbors, and I think that's off to a really good start.
Yeah. You know, I
like where they're going with it.
We started that, and I don't know why. My wife and I, we are the kings of starting a series, pausing it, and never going back to it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I don't know why we do this, but we did that with
that show is awesome.
Yeah.
You got to keep going, man. It's great.
Yeah.
The show that I'm so disappointed in right now because the first season was awesome is Paradise on Hulu.
Yeah, you know what?
Second season sucks.
That's another one. We were so excited about the second season. We watched the first episode, and my wife was like, I don't think I can continue this.
First episode, I mean, the first season was so good.
I know. Well, that first episode of season 2, though, drags. And I'm like, it gave you the cliffhanger ending to the first episode, and you're like, God, I guess I got to come back and see what happens. But I still haven't gone back.
I haven't either.
Yeah, that was rough. All right, more college football with Tom Luginbill. He's with us to the end. We'll do more entertainment as well. Tyler's viewing menu, we'll let Luginbill weigh in on some of that too. So you all love the entertainment nuggets. Luginbill drops with us. We'll do that when we come back. More college football in the next round. As we go to break, Lance tells us about our good friends at Hoover Toyota.
Hey, if you're in the car buying market, you need to check out our friends at Hoover Toyota, conveniently located Highway 150. Beautiful location. I have purchased 2 cars in the last year plus. Got my daughter that RAV Christmas of 2024 back in October. I got in the Land Cruiser. We're absolutely loving our Toyotas. When you look at reliability, safety, something that holds its value, it is the Toyota. In Hoover Toyota, their inventory offers a fantastic selection. Their on-site finance department provides affordable financing options. Even after the keys to your new vehicle are in your hands, they are there to serve you with the service and parts department, committed to keeping your vehicle running smoothly. When you shop with Hoover Toyota, they want to keep you as a customer for life. That's why they offer that red carpet program. To view their inventory and great pricing, go online today, hoovertoyota.com.
Follow Dunaway on Twitter and Instagram at Jim Dunaway.
I'm attorney Alexander Shinar, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
To everyone who craves a fresh meal made just for you, let our team member Jacob share what's special about Culver's.
In Wisconsin, our food comes from the heart, and taking the time to handcraft your meal with care is how we've always done it at Culver's. It's why your Butterburger doesn't touch the grill until after you order.
Come to Culver's and let us serve you a Butterburger made special just for you. From Wisconsin with love, welcome to Delicious.
At Central State Bank, we are large enough to serve you and small enough to know you. Manage your money with ease, whether it's mobile banking, hassle-free checking, competitive loans, business solutions, or personalized financial advice. We're your hometown bank with big-time service. Visit us today and experience banking made simple, because at Central State Bank, you come first.
Member FDIC.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090. Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
The PGA Tour champions are coming back to Greystone. The Regions Tradition, presented by Coca-Cola, is bringing championship golf April 29th through May 3rd. Watch the game's biggest names battle it out for one of the most prestigious titles on the tour. Experience the atmosphere, the excitement, and a full week of entertainment. This is the week golf fans love. The Regions Tradition, presented by Coca-Cola, April 29th through May 3rd. Get your tickets now.
Birmingham, it's official. The FIFA World Cup Trophy Tour by Coca-Cola is coming to town. On Thursday, May 7th, head to Uptown from 2 to 6 for your chance to get a free photo with the iconic FIFA World Cup Original Trophy. It's a once-in-a-lifetime moment for fans of all ages. Again, Thursday, May 7th at Uptown from 2 to 6. Your chance to get the free photo with the iconic FIFA World Cup Original Trophy. The FIFA World Cup Trophy Tour by Coca-Cola, because fan work is thirsty work.
When you think of Birmingham, it's hardworking people that go out each and every day to provide for their families, and that's how we want our team and our play on the field. Join us April 18th as we take on the Orlando Storm. United we ride.
Ain't no party like a Dega party. The noise, the chaos, the will to survive. The biggest, boldest, brashest, fastest, and most intimidating track in all of NASCAR. Only one place calls that home. At Talladega, anything can happen. And at this super speedway, everything usually does. Hell yeah, boys! NASCAR weekend at Talladega Super Speedway, April 24th through the 26th. Get your tickets now at TalladagaSuperspeedway.com.
I may have called the Dan Levy Show Bad Decisions. It's Big Mistakes. I don't know if I called it the right thing. Do you remember what I
you did call it Bad Decisions.
Okay, well, it's a good decision to watch.
I would have spent all this time looking for it.
Where is this show? Big Mistakes is the name of it. I am the king.
Is it on Netflix?
Yeah, it is on Netflix. Yeah.
Okay.
I am the king of screwing things like that up, Luginbill. So yeah, like who was the wrestler that I never could get his name right? That was in town. What was his name?
So the wrestler's name is Rikishi.
And I kept calling him
Rashiki.
And one time I called him Rastinky, right?
Rastinky.
Because
Rastinky,
yeah, because his main move was the stink something, or he sat on people's face. Yeah, the stink face.
He puts your face right between his butt cheeks.
Yeah, which sounds pleasant.
You sound like a coach.
Well, that's a compliment. I've never been told that.
Coaches cannot get people's names right. At all.
Spurrier,
not even close.
Yeah, Spurrier called you Loogie. He's the only guy to call you Loogie, right?
Well, actually, no. Actually, I grew up, I was Little Loogie because my dad was Coach Loogie, and then I was Little Loogie. But
Okay.
I had known him since I was 15 or 16 years old, so that's why he said that on national television, because like most people call me Lugs.
Yeah.
Rarely does anybody ever call me Tom. But, yeah, I grew up, I was Loogie. And that's why Spurrier said that day in that game.
Turned 81.
Everybody got a kick out of that.
Turned 81 yesterday. How about that? Spurrier turned 81 yesterday. What a national treasure he is.
Dude, everybody is. What is happening to this? Are all of our guys that we grew up with, these coaches are all,
81.
Man.
That's crazy, 81. But real quick, before we get back to the college football questions, because you're in the UFL universe, I know we just heard the commercial with A.J. McCarron. They're 1-3. That is not the record he wants. They got shut out Saturday. He called it an embarrassment. Just aside from the outcomes, like when you watch them, does he look like he's already getting the head coach thing? I mean, this is the first time he's ever done this. Did they show a team that is well prepared at least?
Yeah, I think so. Listen, I think the thing that you got to be encouraged by was how he handled the post-game press conference. No pointing fingers, no blaming anybody. It's on me. Very simple, to the point. I thought he handled that extremely well because, listen, he hasn't been a position coach, he hasn't been a coordinator, and next thing you know, he's running the whole entire thing, and it's not going well. And the record goes next to your name. They, by the way, they made a trade this week.
I saw that.
Yep. Dorian Thompson-Robinson coming over from Orlando. Hopefully, that's going to help to improve their fortunes. And then, I've known Tyler Siskey for so long, who's coaching the offense there. He's got to be frustrated as all get out. He's an old personnel guy and position coach, but I've been impressed with how AJ is, number one, maintained his composure by and large for the most part in game, right? Dialed in game, and then post game, I think he gets it. He understands it. And he's as frustrated as anybody. Obviously, everybody thinks it's so easy. That's the thing, right?
Yeah.
Everybody thinks it's easy, and it's anything but.
Yeah. Dorian Thompson-Robinson comes over. Matt Corral got benched. If you didn't watch the game Saturday, Sanford star and local guy Michael Hires came in. So they're looking for answers at quarterback, which is weird because the offense was actually improving. This was the first game where the offense had just really gotten throttled back. So we'll see how that improves. College football, I'm just asking Luke's a few questions that his colleague Bill Conley kind of posed. USC, you touched on them earlier as far as defense. It's always been my criticism, Luke's, of Lincoln Riley back to his Oklahoma days. He's never really had that championship level dedication to defense. And it's not because coordinators. He's brought in some names at coordinators. It's just never clicked for him. The question Conley asked, and I think defense is the answer to this, are they finally built? This has, I guess, been a building process at USC. Do you look at the Trojans and say, okay, he's finally got them built the way he wants them?
Well, I think they certainly are on the offensive side of the football. That's never been in question with the Lincoln Riley coach team. I love the Gary Patterson hire. I think it's fantastic. They're going to be more aggressive. I think they're going to get faster because he values speed over everything else. The question you have to ask yourself is, are they where they need to be up front to be a dominant football team on that side of the football? And do they have to be a dominant football team? No, but I think that they've got to be pretty damn good to get through that conference, get into the college football playoff, and they've got to win big games. I think that's the other thing too, is they've got to play their best football in their biggest moments, and that's been lacking under Lincoln Riley there. So, listen. I think college football is better when SC is in the discussion. When it comes to national championship aspirations, and I do think this is probably the best overall roster that Lincoln Riley has had. Obviously, they've got departures offensively. Mekhi Lemon is a difference maker, but they've got the quarterback back. They've got not just one, but 2 running backs back. Receiving core is for the most part back outside of Terrell Anderson, who comes over from NC State, which I think is a great addition. I think he's a terrific football player. The biggest thing about SC, and this has been going on for 15 or so years. If you talk to coaches that have coached in the old Pac-10 or the Pac-12, they would tell you that if there's a great player on the West Coast, okay, that kid was going to SC, and you weren't doing anything about it, right? And that's changed. That's shifted. And all of a sudden, they weren't able to keep their best players at home, and they weren't able to keep the highest profile kids in the state of California at home. They've all, and we're talking about high profile names. I mean, we're talking about, quarterbacks. We're talking about, Tua. We're talking about Bryce, a guy like Kayvon Thibodeau. Like, I could go up and down the list of players that 15 years ago, they would have all gone to SC. And so what's happened is they've had to kind of recalculate, and not just through NIL, but I think they've had to kind of reestablish a different approach of realize, okay, just because we're SC, we're going to get this guy. That no longer happens. And I think, that's been a tough pill to swallow for SC's faithful over the last 15, 20 years.
Bill Connelly asked this about Ole Miss. What will the Pete Golding era look like? The Pete Golding era started by taking over a Lane Kiffin product, obviously.
Yeah.
Do you anticipate that, 2 years from now, will I be able to watch Ole Miss football and be like, man, this looks totally different than Lane Kiffin?
I don't think it'll look totally different. John David Baker comes over from East Carolina as the offensive coordinator. He's coached on that Ole Miss staff before. I actually had East Carolina on a couple of Thursdays this year, and it's the same approach. They want to get that ball off between 11 and 13 seconds. They're going to spread people out. They do want to run the football. That's going to be a big approach. I think John David Baker's coming into the fold at a really good time. Obviously, the quarterback position hopefully being settled. Jonte Cook and Darrell Gill come over from Syracuse. Horatio Fields comes over from Auburn. Deuce Alexander's back. You might have the best quarterback, running back, 1-2 combo, at least one of them in the country. But they're going to be retooled on defense, man. I mean, they're almost the entire back seven is transfers outside of Antonio Kite. So I don't think you're going to see philosophical shifts or anything of that nature. If you're going to see a difference, it's going to be if they got to play with an inexperienced quarterback, because that changes everything.
Absolutely right. I
don't care who's coaching. I don't care who you are. That changes everything.
So it's always the one big game changer, inexperienced quarterback. I have teased this Georgia question that Bill Connelly touches on. We'll get to that in one moment. A reminder from our friend Luginbill already knows the question, so he's laughing. Our friends at Coca-Cola, the FIFA World Cup Trophy Tour by Coca-Cola is coming to Birmingham Thursday, May 7th, Uptown, 2 to 6. Your chance to get a free photo with the iconic FIFA World Cup Trophy. Once-in-a-lifetime moment for fans of all ages. The FIFA World Cup Trophy Tour by Coca-Cola, because fan work is thirsty work. And Lance tells us about Crane U.
Inspections, training, certifications, whatever you need, Crane U's got you handled. It's the one call you make and you're good. From first-time operators to seasoned professionals seeking recertification, our industry-leading training programs are built for all experience levels. Backed by a team with over 100 years of combined real-world expertise, Crane U delivers the knowledge, hands-on skills, and confidence you need to succeed in the field. Go online today for more information. CraneUOnline.com. That is CraneUOnline.com.
All right, so to be fair to Bill Connelly, I'm going to basically read it the way he asked the question. But in the process of asking this question, it's one of the biggest insults you could give to Georgia football. Does Georgia have playmakers, or is this another, quote, blue chip service academy offense? I have never seen Georgia referred to as a blue chip service academy offense. It is quite the insult. Is there any basis for the insult, though, Luginbill?
I think it would probably be more accurately described, if there's going to be a criticism, is blue chip Iowa.
That may be worse.
Okay.
That may be worse. I've seen the Service Academy score points.
If you're going to call it a service academy, I mean, we're not talking about triple option here. We're not talking about the spread option. We're not talking about those types of principles. But what we are talking about is a very methodical, death blow style of running the football, leaning on you, and then taking your opportunities in the passing game through play action. But the criticism comes from a lack of explosive chunk plays. And I get it. And I think that, they feel like obviously they've got elite level players. They're going to play really good on defense. They might have a bit of a mentality, hey, guys, just don't screw this thing up, right? We're going to be better than the vast majority of the people that we play each and every time we take the field. But the game has changed too. Vandy's good now. All of a sudden, we're having different styles of football teams that are becoming more competitive. The transfer portal's thinning out the herd, so you're not stockpiling as much talent, and that probably has an impact on a team like Georgia, who kind of prides themselves on wearing you out, leaning on you, beating you up physically, and then just outlasting you. And it's becoming harder and harder now in college football to do that because everybody's got better players. And sometimes you do got to match explosiveness with explosiveness, and that's probably not something that's been I don't want to say it's not been a priority. I think Kirby Smart would love to have big explosive chunk plays because I know on defense he's trying to prevent them. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, one of your core principles on defense is limiting plays of 12 yards or more on the ground and 15 yards or more through the air. And Georgia hasn't been able to produce that style. Everything's been high percentage, swing pass. The screen game is awfully criticized. I get that. But you know what? Everybody's doing that. Like, turn on spread teams. They're all running bubble screens. They're all running quick screens. They're all running tunnel screens. They're all doing it off of play action, off of jet sweep motion. And Georgia's doing it too.
It's so interesting to me that Kirby was in Tuscaloosa when Nick Saban stepped back and said, we've got a update to this century in offense. So he goes and hires Lane Kiffin, and everybody's like, wow, what a marriage. And it worked. And then he goes Steve Sarkisian, and it worked. And Kirby saw that, yet Kirby at Georgia has been like, I'm comfortable. I mean, I think we've got enough sample size to know Kirby is comfortable with this style of offense. This is the style he wants. He could hire any coordinator. Who wouldn't want to come coach at Georgia with the athletes you got and the way they win and the resources you have? He could have hired any offensive coordinator he wants. I think it's pretty clear he's got the offense he wants.
Yeah, I think it's familiarity. It's comfort. It's, Mike Bobo knows that place inside and out and kind of what's expected and who they want to be, and they don't apologize for it. And, you're right. I mean, you could, if you really wanted, I remember Dusty, McElroy, and myself had the Citrus Bowl between Michigan and Alabama. And we were sitting in the meeting room with Coach Saban, and we were talking about like becoming more dynamic. And, the one thing he really brought up was, an athletic quarterback. Right. And he goes, I remember, we were sitting around and I finally looked at the staff and I said, guys, I'm getting real tired of chasing these guys around. Why don't we go get one? And they eventually ended up doing that. Right. And they got more athletic. Well, Gunnar Stockton is more athletic. Gunnar Stockton, is a pretty good runner. I thought Stetson Bennett was, a pretty good athlete, but they use Gunnar Stockton as a runner, and I think it benefits them. I think that gives them a dimension that they, hadn't had with a Jake Fromm or a Carson Beck. And so, but I think one of the ways you see people get really explosive or really dynamic on quarterback is they go get, a Lamar Jackson, they go get a Jaden Daniels, they go get a Trinidad Chambliss or, Darian Mensah. Those are the guys that are creating explosive chunk plays because they can do it through the air and they can do it on the ground.
Before we get to the viewing menu, a shift to the NFL draft just real quick. I was reading this morning, Mike Renner, who was a draft analyst for CBS Sports, was doing comps for, I think, his top 30 players.
Okay.
And he did a quarterback comp for Ty Simpson. And he said this, and I'll give you this. It's a former NFL quarterback. He is not currently active in the NFL. But you can use anyone. Like when you look at an NFL quarterback, current or former, give me a player that compares to Ty Simpson or Ty Simpson compares to in your mind.
Sam Darnold and Derek Carr.
Okay.
Would be two that would just kind of come off the top of my head. Alex Smith would be another one because of the athletic component.
Mike Renner goes Derek Carr. That is wild that you went Derek Carr.
Did he really?
Yeah, he did. Derek Carr, quarterback of the Oakland Raiders, the Las Vegas Raiders. Here's how he describes Ty Simpson: escape artist, speed reader, zone beater. Injury and experience concerns are paramount with Simpson, but his tape, when fully healthy, was easily first-round caliber. Are those good descriptions of him? You think escape artist, speed reader, zone beater?
Absolutely. I would agree with every single one of them. I think he's a high-level processor. I think he sees things quickly. He's able to get the ball out of his hand. He's a rhythm and timing guy naturally. Like, he's not a guy you're constantly trying to say, get the ball to your hand, get the ball to your hand. That's not him. And let's not forget, I mean, I think it was talked about, it was hotly criticized, and for good reason. But, you know, you're asking a quarterback to take the field by and large each and every week and be one-dimensional and come up with winning football. And that guy did that a lot.
Yeah.
Man. And I think it's counting for a lot for him right now.
By the way, Fernando Mendoza, his comp was Matt Ryan, the former the Falcons legend.
And he's a much better athlete than Matt Ryan. People do not realize when Fernando Mendoza wants to take off and run, he can take off and run. Very similar to Ty. Now he's taller. I would probably say that he's got like Ben Roethlisberger movement skills. Not the same type of stature similarity, but Fernando Mendoza can move, dude.
Yeah. So you don't love the Matt Ryan comp. Well, you nailed the Derek Carr comp, though, for Ty Simpson.
I actually think Darnold's a better one, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I think their releases are very similar. I think their style and stature is very similar. But who knows? You know, we'll see how it all plays out. I think it's so funny because I do a podcast for the Carolina Panthers, and we just did a draft preview for the Panthers of all the positions that could be on the board for them. And you know, you hear all these draft guys talk about how nobody wants to trade any picks, and certainly nobody wants to trade any 2027 picks.
Why is that?
Because the 2027 draft got guys like Jeremiah Smith and a bunch of other dudes that are pretty dang good too.
Yeah,
so I think everybody's saying we got to hold on to a couple of those.
Well, that's why we were talking about it yesterday. I mean, Ty Simpson, another podcast, you all know David Pollack, where he was talking about the $6 million offer, $6.5 million offer from Miami. He would not be, and I don't know, maybe he goes and tears it up at Miami, but he's a potential first rounder this year. That quarterback draft next year is going to be a different animal. He might not be a first rounder in that draft.
Yeah, I mean, I think he played his cards really well, and I think when you know you turn in your papers and they kind of give you an idea, I think NFL guys really like Ty Simpson.
Yeah.
Like I think they look at him and they say that's an NFL quarterback.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see what happens Thursday night or Friday for Ty Simpson, but hopefully for his sake, Thursday night. All right, we're going to do the viewing menu presented by Michelson. First, Lance tells us about one man in a toolbox who renovated our bourbon room.
Inspection. One Man in the Toolbox performs handyman services for homes and commercial properties in Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, Montgomery, and surrounding areas. They do regular repairs and maintenance, also small project renovations and updates. They've got multiple technicians with different skill sets, and they can tackle most any item in your home. When you call for that free estimate, 205-823-2111, and you talk to Jessica, make sure you mention the next round. You're going to get a discount for the first hour of service. Again, 205-823-2111 or online, onemanandatoolbox.com.
And the viewing menu presented each day by Michelson Laser Vision. Lance was basically legally blind. Now he's got that 2015 fighter pilot vision. You can do the same if LASIK surgery is right for you. Michelson Laser Vision. That's who does it. Doctors Mark and Jennifer Michelson, father-daughter combo there, and they are pioneers in the field. You can get a risk-free evaluation, 969-8100 or michelsonlaservision.com. Tell Amy when she answers the phone, you want that Lance Taylor fighter pilot vision, 969-8100, michelsonlaservision.com. Tyler, tell Luginbill what we're watching.
So we don't have any new releases today, unfortunately, but Peacock has added Nosferatu to its catalog. I haven't seen this since I saw it during its original release in 2024.
Movie?
Yeah, the Robert Eggers version.
Okay. Cool. I liked it. I thought it was good.
Yeah, it's fantastic. So I might revisit that. And over the weekend, I saw Bus Boys with Theo Vaughn and David Spade. It was horrendous. So you can go to Peacock and watch Tommy Boy, which is a much better version of what they were trying to create.
Yeah, Luginbill, Tyler called it the worst movie he's ever seen. Theo Von, David Spade, Busboys. He said you would think you at least get some laughs. And how many did you get, Tyler?
I got 1/2 chuckle.
Worst movie he's ever seen, Luke. And Tyler has seen a bunch of movies.
So, Tyler, have you seen Lee Cronin's The Mummy?
Yes, I have.
What do you think?
I thought it was solid. It was
I did too.
It was really gross and wet sounding. I called it squelchy yesterday. And
it is a full-blown horror movie. Like that is they did not hold back. I actually liked it. I thought it was really good. And I'm hoping they do some more with it.
Yeah, I would like to see more from Lee Cronin. They did Evil Dead Rise.
Evil Dead.
Yeah,
Yep.
which I thought was really solid.
Yeah, they're coming out with a new one of those too, by the way.
Yep, Evil Dead Burn comes out next year, I believe.
So, have you seen the preview for that movie, which is basically going to be a remake of Mr. Mom with Nate Bargatze?
No, Nate Bargatze's doing it.
Bargatze,
yeah. I've not seen it.
It's with him and who is the girl on This Is Us? Mandy Moore.
Okay.
So it's her and Mandy Moore, and it's because Mr. Mom is one of my all-time favorite movies, and it holds up so well. And anybody who's had kids, who was a kid growing up at that time, will look back at that movie and go, "Oh my God, that's my life."
That's right. That's what I do now.
Michael Keaton is brilliant in it, but yeah, it looks like it's just going to be a knockoff on that. Have you watched Something Very Bad Is Going to Happen on Netflix?
I haven't. I got recommended that. That's the
really
new show
good
from the Duffer Brothers, right?
Yeah, it's really good. It's a cool kind of anthology. Kind of horror. I wouldn't call it horror because it's not overly violent. Well, actually, it is a little bit, but it's really good. I think you got to get on that one without question. Do you watch From?
I have not seen From.
From is fantastic. Fantastic. You got to get on From. See, nobody has MGM Plus. That's the problem.
MGM Plus?
I actually do have that for the next 5 days because I signed up for the free trial so I could watch The Big Short over the weekend.
One of the greatest movies ever.
Fantastic.
The Big Short is awesome. It is awesome. But, dude, okay, then if you have it for the next 7 days, get on From.
All right, I'll definitely check that out.
You'll love From. That's another great one. I'm trying to think. I'm thinking about getting back in. Your Friends and Neighbors we've talked about. I'm thinking about getting back into Daredevil.
Yeah, I've been working through that.
Yeah, the first season that ever came out, I thought it was awesome. And then I never went back to it. And now I think I'm going to try to get back to that.
Yeah, I definitely want to catch up before the end of July, so I'm ready for the new Spider-Man movie.
Okay. All right. How about All Her Fault?
I haven't seen that.
It is on Peacock. It has some of the best twists and turns, and you will not see the end coming.
All right.
It's fantastic. It's with the red-haired gal from Succession.
Oh, Sarah
Snook.
Snook. Yeah.
It's really good. Yeah, it's called All Her Fault. I think you'd really like that too, Ryan. That'd be a good one for you in the movie. Right. Yeah, that's a good one.
All
right. I know. I can't recommend any type of horror things to you, and Lance is such a delicate daffodil. And by the way, forget this fighter pilot vision. He's got Cessna pilot vision.
Well, I mean, pilot is a pilot. 2015. He was blind and he had 2015 vision.
How's he driving around?
That was why he went to Michelson, because he backed into a car and he's like, it's probably time to have this scene about. Yeah.
Finally, on viewing menu today, recommendation for Ryan Brown. You're not a Daniel Day-Lewis fan, but have you seen There Will Be Blood?
I've seen There Will Be Blood. I'm not anti-Daniel Day-Lewis.
That's the most overrated movie.
Yeah.
I did not. That movie did nothing for me.
I didn't love it. I have seen it, though. He says that because I did not like Lincoln. But what I've always... Yeah, I didn't like it. Too much talking. What I've always...
And Gangs of New York.
Yeah, I didn't like Gangs of New York. That's Gangs of New York. Oh, you
Stop the show. What's going on?
Gangs of New York.
You didn't like...
What?
Well, you didn't like Gangs of New York?
I didn't.
By the way, that might be one of the single greatest acting performances in the history of cinema.
And that's what's weird is all these Daniel Day-Lewis movies I don't like. I'm like, man, he did a fantastic job. I just don't like the movie.
Yeah.
That's what's weird about it. I respect the job he did playing Lincoln. I just didn't like the movie.
That is so strange to me, dude.
Yeah,
Holy smokes.
Weird guy.
Great. He was great as Lincoln, though.
Oh, he's fantastic. I just didn't like the movie.
Have you guys seen Song Sung Blue, since you know that
No.
Neil Diamond is the Jewish Ellis?
No.
He's my favorite.
I've not seen that,
I skipped out on that one. That was the Hugh Jackman, Neil Diamond cover band.
Yeah, it's actually really good because it's a true story, and I had no idea. I had no idea who these people were. I had no idea this thing actually existed, that they did these things. It's really good. Yeah.
All right, that's the viewing menu presented by Michelson. Luginbill, very kind with his time. We're going to do this again Thursday. We will be more draft-centric Thursday. We'll talk about some of these players in the first round of the draft, some of these high prospects that you've looked at and you're looking at for the Panthers, and we'll do all that. You've watched all these guys. They're filming high school. They're filming college. I know. You've watched them more than anybody. You've seen them since they were 15. So we'll deal with some of these high players of the draft on Thursday. But until then, Luke, thank you for the time. Always fun, buddy. Have a good couple days. We'll see you Thursday morning.
You bet, brother. Thanks for having me.
All right, thank you. That is ESPN's Tom Luginbill. He'll be back with us on Thursday. Clay Travis is with us when we return on the next round.
Follow LT on Twitter at @TheLanceTaylor.
I'm attorney Alexander Shinar, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
New representations made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
To everyone who craves a fresh meal made just for you, let our team member Jacob share what's special about Culver's.
In Wisconsin, our food comes from the heart, and taking the time to handcraft your meal with care is how we've always done it at Culver's. It's why your Butterburger doesn't touch the grill until after you order.
Come to Culver's and let us serve you a Butterburger made special just for you. From Wisconsin with love, welcome to Delicious.
At Central State Bank, we are large enough to serve you and small enough to know you. Manage your money with ease, whether it's mobile banking, hassle-free checking, competitive loans, business solutions, or personalized financial advice. We're your hometown bank with big-time service. Visit us today and experience banking made simple, because at Central State Bank, you come first.
Member FDIC.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service.
Remember the name Way to Wellness if you're battling weight loss in your life. I'm Jim Dunaway from The Next Round. There was a time I was over 216 pounds until Way to Wellness helped me lose 45 pounds, and now for over 2 years, they've helped me keep that weight off. Here's their website, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. That's a great name for a website because there's no cookie-cutter plan. Everything is designed specifically for you. No contract, no sign-up fees, and your first consultation is free at Way to Wellness.
This spring, make it a week the whole family will remember. The Regions Tradition, presented by Coca-Cola, returns to Greystone for championship golf and family fun. Watch legendary players compete, enjoy activities for all ages, and experience the excitement on and off the course. Don't forget to stop by Hole 10 following play on Saturday for a live concert featuring Blues Traveler. This is a week you don't want to miss. April 29th through May 3rd. Get your tickets now.
Birmingham, it's official. The FIFA World Cup Trophy Tour by Coca-Cola is coming to town. On Thursday, May 7th, head to Uptown from 2 to 6 for your chance to get a free photo with the iconic FIFA World Cup Original Trophy. It's a once-in-a-lifetime moment for fans of all ages. Again, Thursday, May 7th at Uptown from 2 to 6. Your chance to get the free photo with the iconic FIFA World Cup Original Trophy. The FIFA World Cup Trophy Tour by Coca-Cola, because fan work is thirsty work.
When you think of Birmingham, it's hardworking people that go out each and every day to provide for their families, and that's how we want our team and our play on the field. Join us April 18th as we take on the Orlando Storm. United we ride.
Ain't no party like a Dega party. The noise, the chaos, the will to survive. The biggest, boldest, brashest, fastest, and most intimidating track in all of NASCAR. Only one place calls that home. At Talladega, anything can happen. And at this superspeedway, everything usually does. Hell yeah, boys! NASCAR weekend at Talladega Superspeedway, April 24th through the 26th. Get your tickets now at TalladagaSuperspeedway.com.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
All right, we move to hour number 2. Clay Travis going to join us in just one moment. Big news for his city, Nashville, as there are reports they will be getting a Super Bowl in the near future. We'll discuss that with Clay. It's something he has talked about and hinted at for quite a while now. The Innisfree countdown to kickoff is on. We are 130 days from week number 1 of college football. Your game day tradition is Innisfree Irish Pub in Tuscaloosa and Lakeview. Irish-inspired pub food, the signature Irish gold sauce, and always a world-class atmosphere at Innisfree. 130 days until the kick of college football in the Innisfree Irish Pub countdown to kickoff. Clay Travis joins us now, the founder of Outkick. And you also see him on Fox. I'll tell him, and I'll tell you again. Dunaway at 38, Lance on a European vacation. So you only got me, Clay. What is up, buddy? How are you?
Man, you guys take a lot of vacations. I need to work for you.
Still like the chat room.
Like European vacations, beach vacations. I mean, that's not a bad gig.
Yeah, chat room gets on to us for our vacation time, and I'm like, dude, we had a radio career that was just fine. We left that and made one of the biggest rolls of the dice we could make. You better believe we're going to take all the vacation we want now, right?
I mean, look, I try to do my shows in as many different places as I can because I actually think, going to new places and seeing new things actually can kind of energize you. And so, yeah, look, I mean, you can't take it with you. So at the end of the day, one of the things I enjoy doing most is traveling with my kids. And I don't know how long they're going to want to travel with mom and dad. So for a while there, now that some of them are starting to get college age, we'll see how that goes.
They'll want to travel as long as you're going fun places, places they think are fun on your dime. They'll definitely want to go, right?
paying, I think is significant.
Right. Yeah, that is a game changer. Dan Patrick reported this yesterday. You have hinted at this, and you confirmed from your sourcing, Dan Patrick's report, that the NFL is soon to award Nashville the Super Bowl in 2030. So we're 4 years away now in that new Nashville stadium. As a guy who grew up in Nashville, you probably never thought that city would host a Super Bowl. Pretty wild to think how much that has changed.
Yeah, I mean, we hoped when I was a kid growing up that we might get a pro sports team one day. And you probably remember, anybody around that age remembers Nashville, and I bet almost all of your listeners have been to Broadway at some point in time. But Nashville, when I was in high school, was building the arena that the Preds would eventually become the primary tenant of. And at the time that they built it, they didn't have a pro sports franchise committed yet. So there's this huge hole downtown on Broadway that everybody watched as that arena was built. And I would argue with you, if you wanted to say, hey, at what point did Nashville go from sort of a regional city to what I think is one of the most impressive cities in the entire nation? I would say that decision to build that arena was a huge transformative part. Obviously, one stadium, now a different stadium. I think we're going to get Major League Baseball in the next decade. And so, basically Nashville will have we got the MLS, we've got, hockey, we've got the NFL, and I think we'll get the MLB. And hosting a Super Bowl, I think there's like 16 cities that have hosted the Super Bowl so far, is really kind of a stamp of legitimacy, not just on the national stage, but on the international stage. And increasingly, Nashville isn't just a national destination, it's an international one. I still think it's kind of wild when I hop on a plane in Nashville as a kid growing up here that I can get off in London, or that I can get off in Dublin, soon that I can get off in Paris. I think we'll have an Asia nonstop before long. And just lots of companies want to come here. And certainly low taxes, high quality of life, all of that kind of factors together. Nashville's safe. I think the NFL draft was a good test for Nashville's ability to handle big crowds and put on a good show. And I suspect that the surrounding environment of the Super Bowl in Nashville would be as entertaining as possible, as long as we don't get an ice storm, which is probably in the back of everybody's mind. The one fear would be, oh God, what happens if we get an awful, once in a generation blizzard or ice storm or something?
Yeah, it's not exactly a warm weather city. I mean, that's where the Super Bowl likes to go, though they have steered away from that with New York and Detroit and places like that. But I mean, you don't know what you're. I mean, it's kind of like around here. A day in January, or in this case, February around here, could be in the 80s or it could be in the 20s.
Yes.
You truly never really know. So it's a roll of the dice on the weather. It's going to be obviously it's going to be an indoor stadium, but your aspect of the weather is the fans being able to enjoy Broadway and walk to the stadium and things like that.
Yeah, look, what makes a good Super Bowl, and I've probably been, at least to 10 different cities, maybe more, for Super Bowls at this point, in my opinion, is having a great central walkable area, because traffic gets awful, and Nashville has that. And again, it's safe. It's the bachelorette capital of America. I always say, the ultimate test of any neighborhood or any city is, the girl feel comfortable out on a street by herself, if she's jogging or she's with a couple of girlfriends and she's going to a bar. That's really kind of the test of whether you're in a good neighborhood or a bad neighborhood. And Nashville is overwhelmingly safe for, young single women. And so I think it would put on an all-time awesome Super Bowl extravaganza, and we may have to look forward to that, since unfortunately the football team itself is not necessarily serenading us with excellence.
Yeah, you got 4 years though. I mean, a lot could change at that time. If Cam Ward is who some think he is, you could be there. I do think it will be one of the tougher Super Bowl tickets of all time, because it's not a huge venue. I mean, it's going to be. Well, what do you think the capacity will be for the Super Bowl? Mid-60s? Is that about what you think?
I mean, I think there is a requirement as to the number of Super Bowl seats that it has to have. So I think it will have that number. But look, we've talked about this before. I honestly think, and I've been to a bunch of these 100,000 seat stadiums, they are lots of fun, but I would rather go to a smaller stadium with great amenities than sit on aluminum and 20 stories into the air. And I think increasingly in an HD, flat screen television, or everybody's got basically a movie theater in their houses now. I think that's going to become more and more of a fact, right? And no matter the sport, I think smaller, more intimate, high-end venues are going to be the future of much of athletics.
I don't know if you know the group that operates it or runs it and what their aspirations are. Would you foresee, because this is important to people around here, would you foresee them perhaps getting in the Final Four national championship game bidding as well? Yeah.
Yeah, I would expect that Nashville, look, in the new stadium, I mean, if you host the Super Bowl, you can host anything.
Mm-hmm.
So I would expect a WrestleMania. I would expect the Final Four. I would expect the college football national title game to be in the bidding cycle. And I don't think Nashville will just get one Super Bowl, by the way. I think it will kind of roll through the rotation where every 5 or 10 years, I think it'll be successful enough that people will want to come back to Nashville. So in the same way that Miami and now Las Vegas and LA, for instance, it feels like are cycling through every few years, I think Nashville will become one of the, I don't think it'll be a one-off like Detroit was. I think Nashville will get it every 10 years or so if we do a good job, which I think we will in the first time we have the Super Bowl.
All right, I'm going to do these two stories together. Clay Travis is with us, founder of Outkick, also Fox Sports, but I'm not necessarily connecting them, but I'm not necessarily unconnecting them. Billy Donovan, in his breaking news, has decided to step down after 6 years as the Bulls coach. There had been speculation about Rick Barnes maybe stepping down at the end of this year, though I am now reading he may have his best roster after what they've done in the portal that he's ever had. So let's do these separately, even though I mentioned them together. You just reacted to Rick Barnes. They're saying this may be the best roster he's ever had. So he's far from stepping down. He's still building.
Yeah, there's two guys that are still out there that Tennessee has to decide on, and I think if they get one of the two, it'll be the best roster that Rick Barnes has ever had. Juke Harris and Nate Ament. Nate Ament obviously is right now projected to be a first-round draft pick, but they're not sure exactly where he will go in the first round. He's a freshman. People who are SEC basketball fans will remember he got injured in the second Alabama game. And so wasn't playing at 100% down the stretch run. But at times, I mean, in the game he played in Tuscaloosa, for instance, he showed you that he's a top 10 caliber talent. Big guy, handles the ball. When he makes the shot, almost undefendable. And then Juke Harris is the other guy. And both of them are, looking at the NBA. I think Tennessee is in line to get one of the two. If they got both, I mean, I think you can legitimately argue they'd be the number one overall team in America. I mean, I don't think that's crazy. And Tennessee is loading up and making a run for Rick Barnes. 3 straight Elite Eights. Tennessee's been unfortunate in the team that they have drawn. They lost to Purdue. Purdue went to the championship game. They lost to Michigan. Michigan obviously went on and won the national championship. And they lost to Houston, who lost the national championship game. So in the Elite Eight, they have played a team that either won the title or went to the title game. And I think a lot of Tennessee people are saying, hey, those were more talented teams than Tennessee. That's a tough draw. And obviously the NCAA tournament is a total roll of the dice no matter what. But they would like to put Rick Barnes in a position where he can have as good or better of a team than most that he would face on his way to the Final Four. And so I think that's what Tennessee is in the middle of. Rick Barnes will be 72. I think there's an understanding that he's one of the best coaches in college basketball. A lot of people in Tennessee love Rick Barnes. And so there's a real effort, step up to say, okay, let's see if we can sort of kick down the door and win him a national championship. And I do think if he won a national championship, obviously, that would be a hell of a way to end one of the greatest college coaching careers of all time. I'm not sure he's only got 1 year left. But he's only got a few years at 72. I think it's fair to say that he's going to be able to coach at a super high level. So we'll see. But Tennessee is certainly putting together what I think will be one of the best teams Barnes has ever had.
All right, then there's Billy Donovan, the former Florida coach that has coached now 11 years in the NBA. And they haven't been great. He made the Western Conference Finals his first year as the Oak City coach. The 10 years since, he's 5 times been knocked out in the first round, 5 times missed the playoffs altogether. So, Clay, with a record like that, I just don't know what your future in the NBA is like. Like, I don't know that NBA franchises will be clamoring to be the next Billy Donovan hire. So you would have to think if he wants to coach anymore at age 60, he would come back to the collegiate game. And when we get in the coaching cycle next year, that'll be the biggest name hanging out there, I would think.
Yeah, there'll be look, don't discount somebody just deciding to pull the trigger now.
I was thinking about that. Yeah, I don't know who I would think of, though. Like
Kentucky, I bet right now, Kentucky fans, I think if you ask them, hey, we got to fire Mark Pope and pay him $20 million. I don't know what his buyout, but we get Billy Donovan, I think you would get 90% approval of that move. So, I mean, that's the one that immediately jumps out. I mean, Pope has not been a success. They banked in a 3 to win a first-round game this year in year 2. Lost in the Sweet 16 in year 1. Roster that is returning is, I don't know, going to be 6th or 7th best roster, it looks like right now, in the SEC. So anyway, that's the one that immediately jumps out to me. You just got a brand new hire at North Carolina. Bill Self, obviously, there's been rumors about what might happen there. Rick Barnes at Tennessee. I think there are a lot of what I would say are, top 10 caliber jobs that would be very interested in Billy Donovan. Obviously, I don't know how you couldn't be. Now, I do think there's some questions about how Billy Donovan would do in the NIL era. He obviously hasn't won a championship in that era. But in terms of being a great coach, being 60 years old, and theoretically, whatever school he would go to would give him, probably $20 million plus, to be fair, to build a roster. I think it's hard to believe that he wouldn't be incredibly successful.
I mean, obviously, his collegiate track record was amazing. 24/7 Sports, and credit in the chat. I want to give credit to Daniel in the chat, who said there is smoke of Todd Golden going to Golden State. It was 24/7 Sports, I believe, that reported that if Steve Kerr steps down, Todd Golden and Golden State might be a marriage there, which then would open Florida back up for Billy Donovan. You wonder, do you get the band back together there? It'd be a great spot to go. Boy, that would be an interesting move if Todd Golden left Florida and Billy Donovan took back over.
Yeah, it would be. I think Steve Kerr's contract is up. I think that's what happened is his contract. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong. I think his contract expired with Golden State, so they will be in the hiring business. I don't know. Again, like the NBA is an interesting dynamic, obviously, given all the contract situations and everything else. Steph Curry's on his way out. That whole era, Draymond Green is on the downside of his career. I don't know that Golden State is necessarily a great job. I mean, when you look at the NBA is a players' league, not a coaches' league. And the players for the Golden State Warriors right now are not very good. It's crazy, I know, to think about this, but you have way more control over putting together an excellent roster at Florida or any other top SEC basketball job than you do in the NBA. And the salaries aren't that much different by and large. So maybe some of these guys, maybe he's burned out on the NIL aspects of being a coach at Florida, but he's returning a great team. He's already won a national championship. That would seem to me to be an odd decision to make. And the NBA is a grind. You know, you're playing 82 games, you're on the road all the time, and your team's not as good. That doesn't seem like a good situation to me to step into. And you're already making plenty of money unless you just don't like Gainesville and you want your family to be somewhere else. And there's always that possibility.
Yeah. Let me close the gap here. It was Yahoo that first reported it, Kevin O'Connor of Yahoo. And the story on Kerr is his contract is expiring. He chose not to sign an extension. According to O'Connor, the franchise wants him to do so, but he's undecided. So they're not necessarily pushing him out, but he's also not committed beyond this season. And they're done. So, you know, we're in the offseason now, so Steve Kerr's got to make a decision sometime. Boy, that'd be a fascinating move if Golden took that gig and Donovan went back to Florida. I mean, if you're a Florida fan, you'd have to feel like to get what you got out of Golden and to get Billy Donovan back, I mean, you've won the lottery, basically.
Yes. I mean, that would be a home run. And if you're, you know, a team that's unhappy with your coach, that's why, again, I kind of come back to Kentucky, and your roster is not looking like what you would have hoped it would look like. I think I talked about with you guys last week or the week before. I think Kentucky is a great example of a school that dominated in a sport that largely the SEC just didn't pay that much attention to. And now, I don't, you know, other than the history of Kentucky, the state doesn't produce that much actual talent, right, in terms of how many truly elite Kentucky basketball players are there. Most people go outside. You're the farthest north in the SEC. Now all the SEC schools, by and large, are contributing big resources. It used to be Kentucky cared about a sport that everybody else did not care about anywhere near as much. I do think Kentucky's in an interesting spot where, you know, the quality of a program is way less significant in an NIL era, and the history of a program is way less significant in an NIL era. And so I don't know why Kentucky, what did they finish, 9th in the SEC
Something
this
like
year?
that, yeah.
Yeah. You know, if they have a great coach, I mean, I think things can change, but I don't know why there's any God-given right for Kentucky or North Carolina, or certainly look at what's happened at Indiana, which traditionally have cared about sports, to be fair, that most people care less about, right? College football is way more popular than college basketball. And so those schools were able to dominate in a sport that people cared about less significantly. But now that everybody is spending money in a big way, I don't know what would make me think Kentucky or Indiana or North Carolina are going to be successful unless they happen to have a good coach. I think that is one of the big changes of the NIL era. And I think a lot of Kentucky fans are looking around, even though they were frustrated with Coach Cal. Which program do you think is in better shape right now? Arkansas under Coach Cal or Kentucky under Pope?
Arkansas.
I
They're
think
good.
Arkansas.
They're probably going to be the favorite to win the conference next year. Arkansas is.
Yeah.
And he's starting to look like he's doing at Arkansas what he did at Kentucky. Just feed. A-Cuff's going to be a lottery pick. So you're just going to start feeding guys to the NBA draft out of Arkansas now. Just what he was doing at Kentucky.
And I think there's an analogy there with what Coach Cal is doing at Arkansas with what Rick Barnes did with Tennessee, right?
Yeah.
Texas decided Rick Barnes isn't good enough for us. They fired him, and they haven't really had anywhere near the same level of success as a consistent program since they fired Rick Barnes. Certainly Tennessee's basketball program is in better shape than Texas is. Now that may change. They got a great coach right now. But for the last 15 years or so, that hasn't been the case. And I wonder on some level with an aging coach like Cal and what he's done at Arkansas, I feel better about Arkansas winning a title in the near future as long as the coaches stay the same than I do Kentucky.
All right, he is Clay Travis, founder of Outkick. You see him on Fox as well, at Clay Travis on social media. Thank you very much for the time, Clay. Have a great week. We'll see you next week.
Hey, appreciate y'all. Thanks a lot.
All right, buddy. Take care. Clay with us on the Alexander Shinara Trial Attorneys Hotline. You can go to Calshi tonight and play the NBA games. You got 3 of them tonight. Right now, Boston, a very heavy favorite over Philadelphia in the early slate there. Also in the earlier slate, Portland at San Antonio. San Antonio, a heavy favorite. The closest one right there at Calshi is Houston and Los Angeles. Tonight, the Lakers at home, a 4.5-point underdog as they take on Houston in the Western Conference playoffs. You can play all those games right now at Calshi, Calshi.com, or the Calshi app. Code TNR when you go to the Calshi app. That gets you $10 on your first $10 position with our friends at Calshi, Calshi.com, or the Calshi app, legal in all 50 states. So you can play it anywhere, and you can enjoy Calshi when it comes to politics, when it comes to pop culture, of course, when it comes to sports, all right there with our friends at Calshi, Calshi.com and the Calshi app. Don't forget to use code TNR to get $10 on your first $10 position at Calshi. And also don't forget, the FIFA World Cup Trophy Tour by Coca-Cola is coming to Birmingham Thursday, May 7th. Head to Uptown from 2 to 6. Your chance to get a free photo with the iconic FIFA World Cup original trophy. Once-in-a-lifetime moment for fans of all ages, the FIFA World Cup Trophy Tour by Coca-Cola, because fan work is thirsty work. A healthy Gainesville debate has broken out in our chat room. If I could get Scott's microphone there, Tyler, please. Scott, you are not a fan of Gainesville, Florida, I take it.
It's terrible. It is among the worst cities in the SEC, hands down.
Continue. Who else would you put in that category?
Ooh, where else didn't I like?
I mean, I've not spent much time in Gainesville. Frankly, I've never been to a game at the Swamp, which I want to do. I've eaten at a restaurant in Gainesville, and that's about it.
My critique isn't about the stadium or the atmosphere.
Right.
It's a loud place. They do a great job there. The city of Gainesville sucks.
Yeah, you just don't like the city of.
How's College Station outside your delicious tacos, Scott?
I actually love College Station.
All right.
Yeah.
Great place.
What I'm finding is you don't know who to compare Gainesville to, because some would say Fayetteville. Fayetteville's a pretty nice town, right?
Yeah, I don't
hard
mind
to get
Fayetteville.
to.
I hated driving there.
Yeah, hard to get to, but a nice town.
Columbia, Missouri also is not great.
Never been to Como. Been to Columbia, South Carolina. Don't love it. The stadium, it gets some criticism, but I actually kind of enjoyed my visit there.
I got nothing against
Darnell says Starkville. I agree with that.
Starkville has come a very long way, though, in the last probably 10 or 15 years.
Okay, it's probably been 15 years since I've been to Starkville.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're going to make a judgment on Starkville, you probably should visit again just to see. I mean, that campus and that city have come, I think, a long way in 10 or 15 years.
Okay, last time I was at their campus was probably 2012, 2013, right around there.
Yeah.
So I imagine it's gotten better since then.
This is going to be controversial. Like the stadium, like the atmosphere, don't love Athens, Georgia.
I got no problem with that.
I mean, I'm just going to say it, a little bit of a dirty town. All right, Brooks going to weigh in here.
Not necessarily SEC, but quickly on Starkville, press box still super old.
Yeah, but the press box is the only part we see. I mean, the fans don't see that. But
they had rusting
I know.
metal.
I know. I'm with you. Not
outlets.
fantastic. Yeah.
But yeah, it's come a long way. The visitor press scrum room is still not very great. I'm sure Forster could attest to that. You're just piled on top of each other.
That is a rough press conference setting.
I mean, you're just piled on top of each other in there. But no, the one I was going to say, and maybe it's a lot different on a game day Saturday. My wife and I went to Greenville and took a drive down to Clemson earlier this spring.
You mean Auburn with a lake?
It was just desolate. Their downtown is like 2 streets.
Yeah,
I was very underwhelmed by Clemson.
Never been to Clemson on a game day.
As I mentioned, never been there on a game day.
Yeah.
Maybe it's totally different, but I was totally underwhelmed by their campus, their downtown. Like the stadium, it was like where Howard's Rock is. I guess I didn't realize it because I'd never been there. Like they literally just drive up on a bus. Like you can just.
Oh
drive.
no, I never knew that until they showed it on ESPN one night.
Yeah, you can just drive right by it in your car and like through a locked gate. There's Howard's Rock.
Yeah, I never knew that they bussed from their locker room all the way around to the hill to run down the hill. I never knew that until they showed it on TV.
And their locker room's on the opposite side. My wife was sitting there. She was like, so is their locker room on? Do they have to walk back up the hill to go to the locker room? And I was like, no. They just do this at the beginning of the game.
That's right. They run off the other side.
And then she was just kind of dumbfounded. She's like, well, that seems kind of stupid.
Yeah, a lot of people banging on Baton Rouge. Again, game day.
Food's too good.
Food's good. Game day atmosphere is fantastic at Baton Rouge.
Shooting a game there kind of sucks, but
yeah.
You
have to shoot from your knees on that one.
You got to be on your knees the entire game.
Low end zone. I agree when Levy breaks. I like downtown Knoxville. Knoxville's a fun town.
Yeah,
I like Knoxville.
The only complaint I have about Knoxville is it's the worst in-stadium bathroom situation for a fan.
Well, a lot of fans,
unless it's been upgraded in the last few years.
Yeah, a lot of fans say, Knoxville not long ago, I think they shrunk their seats to increase capacity. And so I think you can get some pretty tight seats there in Knoxville. Brandon says Norman is not a good college town. I've never done Norman. Dunaway, I can't remember what Dunaway's feeling was on that. He was just up there. I remember the weather sucked. So
it was cold. I know that.
Yeah, it was cold. Well, there you go. I mean, you're not going to please everybody. But Gainesville, you were saying, Scott, basically
it's a dump.
Nobody wants to live in Gainesville.
It's a dump.
Billy Donovan would have to love the job to go back to Gainesville. I would imagine if you're in Gainesville on $8 million a year, it's probably a different experience. That's just my guess.
Can you choose not to live in Gainesville in that case?
You could commute from Orlando, I presume. That's not a terrible drive, right?
Oh, I'll just live at Disney.
I have no interest in that.
Oh, no,
that does not sound great to me. Like, there is a neighborhood that is owned by Disney, if I'm not mistaken. And it's not too far from Disney World, right? But it is actually owned by Disney.
I believe so.
You're living on Disney property, and they're rather large houses. That sounds terrible to me. But I've seen these TikToks of people that are these big Disney lovers, and their whole life's goal is to live in this neighborhood.
It's called Golden Oak at Walt Disney Resort, and it's described as an exclusive luxury residential community that was designed by the Disney Imagineers. And there's 300 custom homes with Disney perks, and prices range from $4 million to over $15 million. So if you've only got $4 million, you're poor in that neighborhood.
That's right. Oh, I'm barely in the neighborhood at $4 million.
Well, they tell you to buy on the low end of an expensive neighborhood.
Yeah, that's the way you make money. So Disney perks, I'm assuming I get discounted ticket. Well, I mean, for $4 million, I really should be able to go anytime I want. If I'm spending $4 million on a house, I should go to the front of the line on Guardians of the Galaxy anytime I want. That'd be my plan anyway.
Yeah, I should be able to golf cart down to
no doubt.
the park.
No doubt. Tickets? Are you kidding me? I still got to buy tickets? I just spent $4 million on a house.
Oh, you probably still need the wristband that is connected to your credit card.
Oh, I know. That thing will wear your credit card out.
I haven't been, and my
Trust
wife
me.
and I are talking about going down the road with our kids, but like so much, I'm so turned off by how much of a money pit it seems like.
It is. You don't even know how much you're spending.
Like I feel like I could travel internationally to Europe for cheaper than going to Disney World.
Potentially, yes. Just ask Lance when he gets back.
But they make it so easy.
They do make it. It's you've never spent money easier than you spend at Disney.
You get access to special events, private tours, and in some cases, complimentary annual passes.
Yeah, in some cases. Yeah, I bet that ain't the $4 million house.
only in the $15 million house.
All right, more of the next row. We got 4 Downs coming up. Brandon Marcello going to join us at the top of the hour. We'll talk some more college football with our buddy Brandon Marcello. A reminder, Urology Centers of Alabama there to take care of all your urological health. It is so important to stay on top of this, and Urology Centers of Alabama helps you do just that. From kidney stones to vasectomies to reverse vasectomies, all your urological tract, stay on top of that with our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. To find a location, give them a call, 205-930-0920. That's 205-930-0920. Or UrologyCentersAlabama.com. That's UrologyCentersAlabama.com.
Follow Scott Forrester on Twitter at ScottForresterTV.
I'm attorney Alexander Shinar, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Sterling and the fine folks at Champy's Chicken on Highway 119 in Alabaster want to welcome you in for a great lunch or dinner starting at 11 a.m. every day. Chicken that's brined overnight and cooked to order, and the taste of the Delta with those Delta recipe tamales. Champy's is perfect for all your tailgating needs this football season. You can also choose Champy's for your next party, wedding, or birthday. Great food, great people. Champy's Chicken on Highway 119 in Alabaster, and everything online at champyschicken.com.
At Central State Bank, we are large enough to serve you and small enough to know you. Manage your money with ease, whether it's mobile banking, hassle-free checking, competitive loans, business solutions, or personalized financial advice. We're your hometown bank with big-time service. Visit us today and experience banking made simple, because at Central State Bank, you come first.
Member FDIC.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090. Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service.
Birmingham, get ready to pregame with the Birmingham Legion FC at the Coca-Cola Soccer Block Party May 7th from 2 to 6 at Protective Stadium. Bring the whole family for music, giveaways, and tons of family football fun for free from 2 to 6 May 7th at Protective Stadium. After the party, the Birmingham Legion FC takes on Miami FC with kickoff at 7 o'clock. Tickets for the match are available at bhmlegion.com. Come kick it at Protective May 7th with the Birmingham Legion FC and enjoy ice-cold Coca-Cola, because fan work is thirsty work.
When you think of Birmingham, it's hardworking people that go out each and every day to provide for their families, and that's how we want our team and our play on the field. Join us April 18th as we take on the Orlando Storm. United we ride.
Ain't no party like a Dega party. The noise, the chaos, the will to survive. The biggest, boldest, brashest, fastest, and most intimidating track in all of NASCAR. Only one place calls that home. At Talladega, anything can happen. And at this super speedway, everything usually does.
Hell yeah, boys!
NASCAR weekend at Talladega Super Speedway, April 24th through the 26th. Get your tickets now at TalladegaSuperspeedway.com.
All right, we got 4 downs coming up, but one of the most amazing hacks of all time in the chat room right now, we have multiple people saying you can actually go, and Tyler is shaking his head yes before I even finish the sentence. He's read this. You can actually go to Disney Japan cheaper than you can Disney in Orlando or LA. Is that true?
Yeah, I've actually priced it out for myself, and you can get there a lot cheaper. For whatever reason, the food in Orlando, insanely expensive. Food in Japan, insanely cheap. Plus, if you're American, you get the added benefit of transferring your high-valued American dollars into the yen, which is incredibly weak right now. So everything's on discount if you go to Japan, almost.
So, I mean, multiple people are saying this. You've looked into it. I can go to Disney Japan cheaper than I can go to Disney Orlando for a family of 4.
Yeah, I looked at even ticket prices, and I think even tickets end up being about $50 cheaper a person.
Wow. How long's that flight from Atlanta to Tokyo?
Let's see.
Is Disney Japan in Tokyo? Is that where it is?
I think it's either... It might be in Tokyo or it might be in Osaka. I think Universal's in Osaka.
I mean, once you get to Japan, it's all a car ride, right? It's a small country.
I mean, it is pretty small. You're never more than 90 miles from the coast.
Oh, really? In Japan, you're not? How about that? Okay. I mean, look into this. My family likes Disney. I mean, could I convince them? Let's go to Disney Japan. I'm sure my wife's going to be like, what
I'll tag along.
Have you fallen? I'll tell them, Tyler will go. We'll have 5 now. Tyler will go. Multiple people saying this. All right, I'll look into it. Disney Japan cheaper than Disney. Bama-born Yankee says we did Disney Paris just to stay away from Orlando. Why aren't people hating on Orlando so much?
I guess just because of the traffic and the fact that you're in Florida and still spending all of that money when you could be going to a different country.
Ross, I've done the Atlanta to Tokyo flight. Absolutely awful.
I wasn't expecting it to be a good flight.
No. That's going to be your problem right there. Like, I can fly Birmingham to Disney in an hour and a half, or Birmingham to Orlando in an hour and a half. Mm-hmm. That's not a great drive. I've done the drive, too. Not a fun drive. You go through backwoods Georgia on that one.
Ryan, the shortest flight I'm finding is 14 hours.
So that's a hard no for me, dog. I cannot fly.
And that's nonstop. That's a nonstop flight. The connecting flights, I'm seeing some as much as 19 hours.
Yeah, if you go to Japan, you got to go direct.
And the cheapest flight that I see currently is about $1,100.
See, I'm told this is cheaper than going to Orlando. That's part of it.
Is that round trip or one way?
That's round trip.
Yeah.
See?
I mean, it cost us about that much to go to L.A. for the Rose Bowl, bro.
I know. That's true. Good
if
point.
You're flying Birmingham to Orlando round trip, I looked, and it's still, $500 a person.
Yeah, I mean, that's not a terrible flight, but as far as price.
But, I mean, for the distance you're covering the distance you're covering to Tokyo.
See, I don't necessarily pay for my flight based on distance. I pay for my flight based on landing. I just want a flight that's going to land. Like, I feel like $500 to Orlando or $1,000 to Japan. I don't really care that Orlando's that much shorter. I just want to get there on time and land safely. So I'm willing to pay for that, right? I'm not like, well, now, wait a minute. One's 19 hours and one's 1 hour. Don't really care. Just want to get there when they tell me I'm going to get there, and let's land safely. I'm willing to pay for that. Like, I'm willing to pay for that. Am I going to pay to sit in first class? Probably not. But I'm willing to pay if you've got me a flight that's getting there on time and land safely. That is worth it to me. So I don't necessarily look at it that way, like, well, one's way short and one's all the way to Tokyo. Don't care. Did it get there on time? Did it land? That's what I'm paying for. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm not paying an hourly rate.
Yeah, I do think it's worth considering when you're talking about the overall cost of a trip to Japan Disney versus the cost of Disney World in Orlando.
Maybe so. Before we get to 4 downs, NCAA Portal, real quick, it closes at midnight for basketball. Jeff Goodman reported this morning there are currently 2,541 players in there that could have changed during the show. Some Alabama and Auburn news. First, the Alabama news. Drew Fielder from Boise, 6'9", 205, portals to Alabama yesterday, the junior. Auburn gets Thomas Dowd out of Troy, 6'8", 205. But, Scott, real quick, they do lose Sebastian Williams-Adams, SWA. It felt like that's one of the guys Auburn fans wanted to stay because of the way he played this year. Okay.
Kind of a love-hate thing there.
Really?
Guy can't shoot free throws.
He's a good defender, plays hard on defense, though, right?
He is.
Yeah.
I personally, I thought Elijah Freeman hurt worse.
Right.
I think he's going to be big time at Texas. Yeah.
Alabama loses the Davion Hannah kid who, he didn't get to play because of injury, but I liked it. I saw him. We did those games at Boutwell, and I really thought, hey, this kid's going to be really good. So you hate to see those guys go before they can ever really play, and you don't know what they become. But, Sebastian Williams-Adams hitting the portal for Auburn. They do get Thomas Dowd, and Bama gets Drew Fielder. So that's NCAA portal, which closes at midnight tonight. Now, all that means is you have to have your paperwork in tonight. That doesn't mean you have to decide tonight where you're going. So the paperwork has to be in by midnight tonight, or you cannot get in the portal.
Hey, I do have one more for you, though.
Yeah.
Mo Diabate on the move again.
But he's LSU's only player right now, isn't he?
I believe so.
So
yeah.
he's playing guard, forward, and center for them currently. He's a Swiss Army knife.
Do it all.
That is the first portal landing for Will Wade, who we thought was going to be super active in the portal, and to this point they have not been.
Taking the SEC tour there.
Yeah, that's going to be stop number 3 in conference there. Mo Diabate's got a lot of swag that he can share with you if you like Bama, Kentucky, or LSU. You're going to be a big guy to wear it, though.
A lot of different colors, too.
That's true. All right, before we get to 4 downs, Jim Dunaway tells us about our friends at the Talladega Superspeedway. NASCAR coming to town this weekend.
It's time to go racing again. Over in Talladega, the Jack Links 500 weekend is coming up Friday, April 24th through Sunday, April 26th. The big race, the Jack Links 500, is that Sunday with all the Cup superstars on the world's fastest speedway. Exciting, unpredictable. That's what you always get with the biggest stars of NASCAR when they come to Talladega again for the Jack Links 500. And you can get your tickets right now by going to the TalladegaSuperspeedway.com, TalladegaSuperspeedway.com, or buy your tickets calling 877-GO-TO-DEGA. That's 877-462-3342. And don't forget to add on to your experience with the most immersive garage experience in NASCAR. That features access to the NASCAR Cup Series Garage Bay viewing areas, pre-race ceremonies, driver questions and answer sessions, and of course, Mobile One Victory Lane trophy and photos. You'll be up close and personal for all the action. It's Jack Links 500 weekend at Talladega coming up Sunday, April the 26th. Buy your tickets right now at 877-GO-TO-DEGA or TalladegaSuperspeedway.com.
And 4 downs presented by our friends at Central Alabama Asphalt and Construction. They are the group that is a lot of times doing the major state government and municipal roadway projects that you pass. So you see road work being done, there's a good chance that Central Alabama Asphalt and Construction may tell you in your mind that they can't do your smaller project. That is where you could not be more incorrect. They absolutely can. They've got an entire division that does things like parking pads, driveways, parking lots for churches, our community centers, our stores. Same crews, same quality, same no excuse standards. Get your estimate now. 205-349-0910, 205-349-0910, or CentralAlabamaAsphalt.com.
First down.
All right, change on the fly, no pun intended. We were talking about longest flight, worst flight you have ever been on. Around the room quickly, worst flight you've ever been on, Tyler.
Only been on 2. Going to New Orleans and coming back from New Orleans. Coming back from New Orleans was pretty rough because my dad and I almost missed our flight.
Ooh, that does suck when you almost miss your flight. You start running the numbers like, am I going to drive home? Bus, how we're going to get home?
Security line was just horribly long. We were coming back from the Sugar Bowl, Alabama and Oklahoma.
Right.
And all the dejected Alabama fans were in line. And my dad was traveling for work at the time, so he was like, I've got our pre-check thing.
Yeah.
And so we went right through and got on the plane.
Right past the dejected Alabama fans.
Yep. And it got on about 5 minutes before they would have boarded us.
Oof.
Or rather,
before they close the door.
Before
right?
they close the door.
Yeah. Worst flight you been on, Scott?
Did so many bowl trips, I can't get them straight, but I do remember getting stuck in Phoenix on coming back from maybe a national championship game. That'd probably be it.
Yeah. Brooks?
I've got 2, actually. I'll go. First one was connecting flight out of Louisville to Newark, New Jersey. I was going up to see my now wife between summer classes when we were dating, and I got stuck in a middle seat between 2 enormous men.
Oof.
And
a lot of contact there, huh?
It was bad.
Full contact flight on that one.
Yeah, a lot of skin touching that I did not want. It was summertime too, so it was warm.
Oh God, that's terrible.
So that one was really bad. But perhaps the one that maybe topped it. My aunt and uncle took me to the airport in Atlanta one time to fly. I think it was the next year to New Jersey. So just don't fly to New Jersey.
Yeah, that's my takeaway.
They kind of putzed around, took their time. I told them I would buy them breakfast if they took me down that morning. We stopped off at Waffle House, and they did not get me to the airport in enough time to. I didn't miss the flight, but I sprinted through.
Oh, terrible feeling. I hate that.
And I had to poop so bad. I mean, it was like I had no time to use the bathroom. I ran to the gate, like they were calling my name at the gate.
Terrible feeling.
And I had to get up before we even hit the 10,000 feet sign. The man was like, or the lady was like, "Sir, you can't be out of your seat." And I said, "I'm gonna poop right here on the floor if you don't let me go to the bathroom right now."
Okay. Yes, sir. You'll move on. After that, let's go to second down.
Second down.
Tony Romo turns 45 today. Modern day, past, whatever. Your favorite NFL analyst, commentator is who?
I mean, John Madden's awesome. I caught the tail end of his career.
Yeah.
But just, I grew up listening to him as a color commentator on the Madden game, which was always fun. And then just his antics on air in the late 90s.
He and Pat Summerall together were fantastic.
Well, and even him and Al Michaels, once he moved to Monday Night Football and eventually Sunday Night Football. I always enjoyed just his persona, and that's who I would go with.
I will also go with John Madden.
Wow, 2 for 2, John Madden. You always say, does he have his own video game? No, then it's John Madden. That's right. Scott?
Much like college football, I don't really have a favorite, but I'll go least favorite.
Joe Tessitore does not do the NFL anymore.
I'm aware. It would be Joe Tessitore if he did do NFL games. But I'm going to go Dennis Miller and his brief stint on Monday Night Football.
That was bad.
Was it Dennis?
It was so bad.
Was it Dennis Miller and Tony Kornheiser together? Was that the booth?
Tony was later on, I want to say.
Was he?
Yeah.
Yeah. It might have been Dennis Miller and Dan Deerdorf. But I remember that was when they're like, let's bring a comedic element to it.
That did not work
at all. It did not work at all. I still love Troy Aikman. I think Troy Aikman's fantastic.
Solid.
I think he's fantastic. I really, really like Troy Aikman's work. Third down.
No Booger McFarland, anybody?
No Booger McFarland in the Rover.
Third down.
This day in 1986, some of you youngs will not remember this, but it was 30 million people watching on TV when Geraldo Rivera blew open Al Capone's safe and found absolutely nothing. It is widely regarded as one of the biggest letdowns in TV history. I ask you for a movie or TV show that completely let you down, much like Geraldo Rivera. Tyler, there had to be one movie you were looking forward to.
A movie that let me down, I had to think about it. The biggest disappointment was probably the Joker 2 movie that came out a couple years ago. Because it was
it was a musical, basically, right?
Yes, they turned it into a musical, and it was meant to be a follow-up to the Joaquin Phoenix movie, and it was just absolutely abysmal.
It was trash.
I wanted to walk out, but I couldn't because I had to film a review, and so I was just sitting there miserable.
This
for
can't
2
suit it
hours.
up. Brooke, Scott, you got one?
I feel like this. We should have. So, spoiler alert here for anything we're about to say, I guess, right?
Oh yeah, that's probably fair.
Sure, yeah. Spoiler alert, especially if you give the movie title so people know. Ooh, I definitely haven't seen this.
I'll go. It's not a super popular basketball movie, but I remember we went as a middle school basketball team to go watch Coach Carter in theaters when it came out.
No good.
The movie was great up until like it's Samuel L. Jackson's the coach. The movie was great, and I remember the movie just kind of abruptly ends. They lose in the first round of the playoffs, and we were like, "That's it."
Well, that's not what the movie's about. The movie's about
them, it was just like
studying.
I do want to see how it turns out, though. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was just like I don't know. We were expecting them to go on this like Cinderella championship run, and it was just a massive letdown. They get beaten. They didn't even at least in Friday Night Lights they make it to the state championship game before they lose. Like they lost in the first round, and it was just like, wow, that sucks. I guess that's it.
Scott.
All right, not a movie, but Ozark was trending to be one of my favorite shows ever.
You didn't like the finale?
pretty much the whole last season.
Really?
I thought was kind of a dud.
Wow.
I haven't said this on the show before,
but
I haven't finished Ozark because I tapped out with the last season. I haven't finished it.
They did not land the plane at all.
Okay. All right. I'll need to go back and remind myself of the final season. I didn't find it as objectionable as you did, and
I don't know what it was about it, but it just made me totally lose interest.
Okay. I loved Ozark.
But I loved up until that point.
4th down.
Queen Elizabeth II would have been 100 today. I've never understood the fascination with the English royal family.
Same.
I've never understood. So this may be your answer then, but I was going to ask you things people obsess about that puzzle you. The British royal family, would that be it for all of you?
Yeah, British royal family or Taylor Swift.
Okay. Hat tips done away. Yeah. I've never understood the fascination with the British royal family. They don't really have any power, right? I don't think they have any power. I think they're just figureheads. And I'm not British, so what do I care, right? We won that one back in 76. I don't have to worry about the British anymore.
And then beat them again in 1812.
That's right. I mean, we're 2-0, so I'm not going to worry about them. But I've never really understood the fascination with the British royal. Like, I don't even think people over there, I don't know why they're fascinated with them.
Like, there was, for a few years, just constant news about, what was her name? Was it Meghan something?
Yeah, Meghan Markle, the one that's married to the old boy that's they're over here now.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He's kind of taken a leave of absence from the royal family.
Yeah. Samuel says the Kardashians.
I was going to throw them in.
100% agree. Art Stu says Pokemon cards. Yeah, I mean, that's kids, though.
I was going to say the Kardashians are
Is it?
Yeah, maybe.
It's not so much anymore.
Yeah, the Pokemon kids grew up. They're all adults now.
Oh, so now they're fighting over them? Nick says the Soccer World Cup. Reminder of the trophy coming to Birmingham.
No, I was going to
Great
throw
sponsor.
in with the Kardashians along the same lines is I've never understood all the different Real Housewives shows and what the phenomenon behind that is. That just seems why do I want to watch a bunch
a bunch of yelling and fighting.
A bunch of women who are only have money because of the success of their spouses, and they're fighting with each other.
Does not make sense. I agree with you. That is 4 Downs, presented by Central Alabama Asphalt and Construction. Brandon Marcello going to talk some more college football with us after the top of the hour. As we go to break, a reminder, our friends from Michelson Laser Vision. Luginbill didn't believe me, but Lance was legally blind until he saw our friends at the Michelsons. Doctors Mark and Jennifer Michelson. That is a father-daughter combination that are pioneers in the field of LASIK surgery. Is it right for you? Go get an evaluation and find out. It is risk-free, and they will let you know very quickly your options there with Michelson Laser Vision. Call Amy today and say, I want Lance Taylor's Fighter Pilot Vision. 960-8100. Excuse me, 969-8100. 969-8100. Or MichelsonLaserVision.com. That is MichelsonLaserVision.com. And Lance Taylor tells us about our friends with Gutter Cap.
Dirty, dangerous job. Make the phone call today. Talk to our man, Chris Stewart. He will come out, give you an absolutely free estimate. Gutter Cap is a patent aluminum cover system. It fits over most existing gutters. It will keep all debris out, only water inside of the gutters. 205-823-2212. Cap it, don't snap it. You get on the roof, you slip, you fall, you snap the neck and die. No good to the wife or kids. Make the phone call today. Absolutely free estimate, and you'll never clean those gutters again. For more information, guttercapbirmingham.com.
I'm attorney Alexander Shinar, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
To everyone who craves a fresh meal made just for you, let our team member Jacob share what's special about Culver's.
In Wisconsin, our food comes from the heart, and taking the time to handcraft your meal with care is how we've always done it at Culver's. It's why your Butterburger doesn't touch the grill until after you order.
Come to Culver's and let us serve you a Butterburger made special just for you. From Wisconsin with love, welcome to Delicious.
At Central State Bank, we are large enough to serve you and small enough to know you. Manage your money with ease, whether it's mobile banking, hassle-free checking, competitive loans, business solutions, or personalized financial advice. We're your hometown bank with big-time service. Visit us today and experience banking made simple, because at Central State Bank, you come first.
Member FDIC.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
Remember the name Way to Wellness if you're battling weight loss in your life. I'm Jim Dunaway from The Next Round. There was a time I was over 216 pounds until Way to Wellness helped me lose 45 pounds, and now for over 2 years, they've helped me keep that weight off. Here's their website, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. That's a great name for a website because there's no cookie-cutter plan. Everything is designed specifically for you. No contract, no sign-up fees, and your first consultation is free at Way to Wellness.
This spring, make it a week the whole family will remember. The Regions Tradition, presented by Coca-Cola, returns to Greystone for championship golf and family fun. Watch legendary players compete, enjoy activities for all ages, and experience the excitement on and off the course. Don't forget to stop by Hole 10 following play on Saturday for a live concert featuring Blues Traveler. This is a week you don't want to miss. April 29th through May 3rd. Get your tickets now.
Birmingham, get ready to pregame with the Birmingham Legion FC at the Coca-Cola Soccer Block Party May 7th from 2 to 6 at Protective Stadium. Bring the whole family for music, giveaways, and tons of family football fun for free from 2 to 6 May 7th at Protective Stadium. After the party, the Birmingham Legion FC takes on Miami FC with kickoff at 7 o'clock. Tickets for the match are available at bhmlegion.com. Come kick it at Protective May 7th with the Birmingham Legion FC and enjoy ice-cold Coca-Cola because fan work is thirsty work.
When you think of Birmingham, it's hardworking people that go out each and every day.
Think about the best summer nights of your life. How many of those were in a great t-shirt? Visit nextround.store to get the perfect t-shirt for the next perfect southern night. Nextround.store. The memories are waiting.
Ain't no party like a Dega party. The noise, the chaos, the will to survive. The biggest, boldest, brashest, fastest, and most intimidating track in all of NASCAR. Only one place calls that home. At Talladega, anything can happen. And at this super speedway, everything usually does. Hell yeah, boys! NASCAR weekend at Talladega Super Speedway, April 24th through the 26th. Get your tickets now at TalladagaSuperspeedway.com.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, The Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
All right, we go to hour number 3 of the next round. As always, final hour of the show presented by our friends at Champy's, world-famous fried chicken, champyschicken.com, champyschicken.com. Sterling and the entire gang there have thrown the doors open. They are ready to serve you some lunch, those Mississippi Delta recipe tamales, those great po' boys, the massive chicken fingers, the great sides, Megan slinging the drinks behind the bar. You got it all right there at Champy's, world-famous fried chicken, Highway 119 in Alabaster. champyschicken.com, champyschicken.com for our guy Sterling and Champy's world famous fried chicken. Brandon Marcello will be joining us in just a moment. We'll talk some college football with him from CBS Sports. Some breaking news during the break there. Thomas Houck has announced his return to the Florida Gators. So one would have to think the Gators could potentially start the season as the overall number 1 team. Now, the interesting story is, because of some speculation today, who is Thomas Houck playing for? There is speculation that if Steve Kerr does not stick around and coach the Golden State Warriors, his contract has expired. He has not signed an extension, though the Warriors want him to. Kerr said after they got bounced Tuesday, he's going to take some time to think through it. Last Tuesday. He's going to take some time to think through it. But Kerr is not signed for this season. There are rumors that Todd Golden would be a candidate for the Golden State Warriors job if Kerr does not stay for the Warriors. That would open up the Florida job, which potentially, coupled with today's news, would be big news. Billy Donovan has decided to step away from the Chicago Bulls after 11 years as an NBA coach that weren't very successful, one would have to think his time as an NBA coach could likely be done, which would mean the 60-year-old, if he wants to coach again, would have to move back to the collegiate game. There would be plenty of suitors for him, but one obvious one would be the Florida Gators if that job is, in fact, open, with Todd Golden potentially taking the Golden State job. Whoever is the coach of Florida next year, though, has got one heck of a team, with Thomas Houck announcing his return earlier today. I was going to give credit On 3, I believe, was the one that broke the story there, so I was going to try to give credit to them. So, indeed, Houck is returning. As I tried to open it to give credit, couldn't find the story there, so I don't know who to give credit to. I would have to think Florida could be potentially your number one coach, your number one team in the nation, regardless of who is the coach. So interesting that that story is out there with Thomas Houck returning. All right, Brandon Marcello, CBS Sports, covers college football. He's been on the show, been a friend of the show for a very, very long time. So we'll talk some college football with Brandon Marcello, as we always love doing, whether in season or out. He is always great. You can always follow him on Twitter at @bmarcello and read his work and watch his work there at CBS Sports. He does a lot of work on social media as well. So just follow Brandon everywhere. He joins us now on the Alexander Shinara Trial Attorneys Hotline. Welcome in, Brandon. How are you today?
What's going on? I'm good, man.
Doing great. We're fantastic. I should tell you, as I've tried to do at the top of each hour to let our audience know, Jim is on 38. Lance is on a European vacation. So I have been left to man this ship by myself.
Wow.
But both those guys are in good hands right now. The show itself, not in great hands.
Well, you should have like guests fill in, for as co-hosts or something there.
What are you doing Friday, Brandon? Are you free Friday?
No, not me. Like you should do like a fundraiser for charity or something. People bid to be a co-host for an hour.
Okay.
I don't know.
All right. We may consider doing that. It's a great idea. No, we appreciate you spending some time with us, though, as always. I want to start spring games. They're not televised like they once did, so you've probably had to dig for some video and some, looking at what has happened in spring. Is there anything in a spring game that has jumped out to Brandon Marcello where you're like, okay, I maybe didn't expect this out of this team or this player?
No.
Anything in a spring practice?
I hate saying that, as a beat reporter previously on several SEC beats locally, you cover the ins and outs and day to day, and the hardcore fans eat that stuff up as they should, because they want to know every little detail. But I've been doing this for how many years? 18 years, and nothing I've ever learned, quote unquote, in the spring has been something that I go, the reason why this player did this in week 3 or whatever is I saw that coming, back in spring practice. Now, there have been times where I've watched spring practices and a spring game and go, they haven't named a starting quarterback, but that guy's going to be the starting quarterback, and they end up naming him in August. But there hasn't really been any like gigantic developments from talking to folks, and I've only watched like maybe 2.5, maybe 3 spring games, so to speak, and just that's pretty much been highlights. But it has been interesting to see how coaches are handling spring games differently this year. There's more on the schedule than there was last year because now there's not a spring transfer portal window, and the coaches know that other coaches aren't watching those games or spring practices and going, hey, let's get this kid to enter the portal. So that's been interesting. You also have had some coaches who have just adjusted on the fly in the middle of their spring game, and they're planning on playing like 120 snaps or something like that, and they end up doing 60 because they've noticed the team kind of wearing down or whatever. So, but no, there's nothing big that really comes out of all this, and I think the biggest thing to watch to me is whether we see any of these kids when spring practice ends testing legal avenues to leave those teams and go to another and enroll somewhere, because there's no transfer portal window, but there's concern that some players are going to leave and go elsewhere, which is why the NCAA just within the last couple of weeks had emergency legislation that said, if you accept a kid this spring who was not in the transfer portal legally, which you can't do right now, your head coach is going to be suspended 50% of the season. You're going to get a fine of 20% of your football budget. But I do wonder if there's some schools out there talking to their lawyers going, we could test this. And also we could drag it out long enough during the middle of the season that nothing would be settled till the season's over with anyway and the players already played. And then maybe we face some penalties afterward. I know that sounds crazy, but I guarantee you someone's talking about that or has at least mentioned it to someone, and they're trying to bandy it up, knock it up the flagpole to see if any coaches bite on it. I think it's going to be very, very difficult, probably impossible. I don't think any coach is really going to bite on that, but you just never know in this day and age. We're seeing so much crazy stuff.
No, I mean, just in this state, Brandon, we've seen the power of a court injunction in an athletic season. I mean, to your point, all you got to do is get a judge, say, whoop, 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 whoop. We don't think this meets the legal sniff test here, and coach is going to continue to coach while we work this out. And you can delay stuff in courts for a very long time. I mean, that is something that is easily done if that were your objective. So, yeah, to your point, I appreciate the spirit of that rule. I'm just not certain how long-term enforceable that rule is.
Yeah, the rules don't matter anymore.
Yeah.
They don't. They're only matter as long as you can enforce them, and then no one challenges it. And everybody challenges everything now because the system's been falling apart since the Alston case 6 years ago, and you're seeing it in real time every single day. Practically, you're seeing either a new lawsuit get filed, or get settled, or decided, or you're seeing developments from the College Sports Commission trying to invoke new rules or say that they're backing off of certain things. Or as we've seen today and yesterday, you've got the plaintiff attorneys, the big wigs, that are involved in the House settlement saying, hey, we believe you're invalidating the House settlement by saying that these multimedia rights holders like Learfield Sports and Playfly, that they can't pay players because they're associated with the university. Listen, again, they're going to keep challenging things until there's actual federal legislation. I have been saying that. Thousands of others have been saying that forever. And we don't have federal legislation. They're trying to get it. It's anybody's guess if that happens. The odds are definitely still stacked against that happening.
Brandon Marcello with us, CBS Sports. One of the things I read recently from you at CBS Sports discusses the possibility of what is now week 0 simply becoming week 1. Everyone starts on what is now week 0. It would create a couple of things. Number one, 2 byes every year as long as the schedule remains as it is. And number 2, potentially enough runway for some other options on an extended playoff if it does get extended. How likely is this, and why would this be a good thing for college? I'm for it. I'm fine with it. Sooner we get to college football and there's more calendar space of college football, which I want both those things. Is this likely to pass, and why would it be a good thing or bad thing?
Yeah, it's going to pass, I think. They've been discussing this, I mean, for the better part of the last 7 or 8 years going back, and it's really gained steam the last 4 years from the conference level among some commissioners. There's some commissioners who aren't all completely bought into it, but there's enough folks out there that want to see this happen. They want to be able to have more breathing room in the schedule. Coaches, for the most part, want it because, as you mentioned, you can build in 2 bye weeks and not have any scheduling issues. You get more time to recover, rest. It's a long season anyway, but now you get yourself some more breathing room. The only thing I think the coaches don't really like about it is that now you're moving back the start of preseason camp to late July, potentially. But again, this is just another step in the changing of the calendar across college athletics, but in specific, the college football. We've seen the quote-unquote course correction go into just one transfer portal window. We've seen the discussions over the last 3 years about spring practices maybe turning more into like OTAs like you would see in the NFL and providing the freedom for example, I believe one of the suggestions out there that's been bandied about was you could have a certain amount of spring sessions, and you could start those anytime you want between January and like July. So you could do 7 practices in January if you wanted to, and then wait until June to do 8 more. That gives you more freedom. And again, not every university is the same. Obviously, they're on quarter systems out west. Obviously, the fall schedule semester starts later out west at a lot of these universities. So you got to provide more flexibility for these universities that kind of do things, but just give them the same amount of practice sessions or whatever. But once again, we're college football. This is the NFLcation of it. It'll never be the NFL, but there's certain things that they know they've got to adopt to make this a little bit more of a stronger, more flexible calendar. But also, the end goal here, and no one will say it, but the end goal here is to make college football a year-round sport. It kind of already is, but you want to be able to, like the NFL, go, well, it's this date right now. We know that OTAs are wrapping up, or players are reporting all at the same time, or this is going on here. We're getting to that point now in college sports.
Yeah, there is never a time where the NFL is off the ticker.
They're always in the news cycle.
Yep, there's something and this is genius by them. You're either in the season, you're in a trade deadline, you're in the free agency, you've got the draft upcoming, or you're in camps, or you're starting the season again. I mean, it is always that calendar for the NFL, and they are never not news. I mean, that is a credit to the NFL. They have figured out we can be news 365 days a year, and they have done that.
Yeah, that the problem for college football, though, or college sports as a whole, is that to be able to get to a actual year-round calendar like the NFL, you need a union, you need a players association.
Yeah.
And that they're nowhere closer to that happening. And of course, so again, they're doing like a bastardization version of it without the key piece that would make that possible. So once again, college sports, we're running a marathon hopping on one leg.
I want to ask Brandon Marcello, Tyler cut 3 here, about a specific coach and team that I find fascinating this year. Kyle Whittingham, year 1 at Michigan. Brandon, we're about to hear him talk about his quarterback, Bryce Underwood, who is a fascinating player. This situation is fascinating to me. Here is Kyle Whittingham on his QB and his time at Michigan, Bryce Underwood.
He progressed all through spring. There's a lot, some things that may not be noticeable to the, to just the general populace, but his footwork, his pocket presence, he's improved in all areas. Now he still has work to do. He knows that. We know that. But I think he's ahead of where he was certainly, prior to or from last season. And we think he's got a big upside, and we've still got a lot of confidence in him. I mean, there's no real different sentiment than what we had when we first got in here.
Big upside is what you always hear about Bryce Underwood. You just haven't seen that play out just yet. Kyle Whittingham is a known commodity. This marriage at Michigan had. What are your expectations for this, just in year 1, not long term, but in year 1, your expectations for Kyle Whittingham in Michigan?
Right now, they're my surprise pick to make the playoffs.
Oh, wow.
And Kyle Whittingham kind of being the calming voice, the voice of direction there at Utah. Never really any big issues off the field. They kind of always seem to be bought into the culture, being the toughest, most hard-nosed team in the Pac-12 and then trying to do so in the Big 12. I mean, you guys remember they were pushing Oregon around just a few years ago when they were in the Pac-12 and winning Pac-12 championships. Michigan obviously thrives off of that. I think it's a good culture fit from that standpoint, especially considering everything that happened with Sharon Moore and getting everybody more galvanized around a certain thing. But the big key here, the jet fuel in my eyes, is Jason Beck, the offensive coordinator, who he brought on previously last year at Utah, changed their entire offensive system. They went from not necessarily ground and pound, but they were a more physical style. But he combined that physical style with this wide open attack, much more creative in the passing game. And as Kyle Whittingham told me back in last June or July, I was chatting with him, and he said, listen, you're about to see a Utah offense unlike anything you've seen since Urban Meyer was here in the early 2000s. It's going to be more wide open. This is something I've never quite run before. And what happened? They ended up having one of the more explosive offenses Utah's had in some time, and they did so with a quarterback who, much in the style of Bryce Underwood, can create with his feet, can extend plays. I'm really excited to see what this offense looks like in the fall. Now, I've heard a lot of critics counter that by going, well, look at Bryce Underwood's numbers in the spring game. And then I go, listen to what the sentence you just said that came out of your mouth. You said spring game. I do not care. Yeah, I mean, I see all these memes. I mean, I'm an old now.
Yes.
You see all these Instagram posts and everything going, oh, Auburn's in trouble. Byron Brown was 3 of 8 or whatever it was. Oh, Michigan's in trouble. Bryce Underwood was doing that. Like, one, I can tell you a handful of quarterbacks I can remember watching in person, in fact, at their spring game that looked like crap. They end up being Heisman contenders or winners. One of them obviously being Cam Newton at Auburn at one point. He had a quote-unquote horrible spring game. I remember Nick Marshall having some struggles at times at Auburn. I remember my time at Arkansas watching Ryan Mallett and people going, man, he just doesn't look like he could read the defense. I mean, let's everybody chill out with spring game takeaways and all that type of stuff. I mean, anybody who sits here and acts like you're an expert by breaking down the film of a spring game, I got news for you. The offense probably knows what the defense is running, and if the offense doesn't know what the defense is running, that's by design to make the offense look stupid so the coaches can go in the film room and go, hey, see here, you did this thing and it looks stupid. Here's how you counter that in the film room. It's professional wrestling. Spring games are the WWE. The script is written. The results are known. It can still be entertaining, but it's still fake.
Watch Savion Hyder, though, the running back. He only had 10 carries, 44 yards in that scripted spring game for Michigan. His quote after the game, though, I don't feel like anybody on the field can tackle me. That will be a challenge to defenses he faces, but he is a 5-star
freshman. Or maybe it's just
freshman.
a challenge to his teammates in Michigan.
Could be.
You guys suck.
We got to get better on defense. Nobody can tackle me. He's a 5-star freshman, though. They feel like this kid could be a big player for them, Savion Hyder. So we'll see.
Listen, this is a team in my eyes because of the pieces and him being one of them. Not necessarily that they're younger, but growing in a new offense. This is a team, if they all stick together because of the talent and the depth they have, is going to be getting better throughout the season, in my opinion, offensively, which is really dangerous in this day and age, right? If you're getting better as the season goes along and your offense is becoming more disruptive to defenses as you go along, that makes you a playoff team and maybe someone can go on a run. So I like what the ingredients, not to say that I see it happening, but I like the ingredients I see floating around in the pot right now for Michigan to maybe be that surprise playoff team out of the Big Ten.
Jim is not here to ask this question, so I'll ask it for him. He has said many times he feels like this is a stopgap for Michigan, that Whittingham's almost doing them a solid. Do you feel the same? I mean, what does a long-term successful window look like for him?
I mean, possibly, but I mean, what's the average lifespan of a head coach now? It's 3.5 years.
3.5 years, yeah, that's a good point.
So, I mean, he stays there 5 years. He's surpassed that. But at a program like a Michigan or an Alabama, Penn State, Ohio State, you want a coach that's there for 10 years because it means you're winning, right? But Kyle Whittingham, I don't think he's got 10 more years in him. I mean, we all know 3, 4, 5 years ago, he was talking about retirement and setting up a coach and waiting plan. Obviously, he wasn't quite ready to retire at Utah, and they had some disagreements there. And he ended up going to Michigan. But, I mean, if you've ever seen Kyle Whittingham in person, he's probably the healthiest 60-something-year-old man you've ever been around. The guy's buff. He's ripped. He works out like crazy. He's still sharp as heck. I mean, I think he could keep coaching there. And as long as he's successful, I don't see any reason why he could surpass the 3.5, 4-year threshold that head coaches have kind of marked themselves now in college football.
All right, fair or not, before you go, Brooks, who handles our social media, each week has asked us to do certain rankings, things like that. We ranked the SEC coaches the other day, 1 through 16. And I had Ryan Silverfield 15, Will Stein 16, simply because Will Stein's never even coached a game as a head coach. It's hard for me to put him anywhere but 16. My two colleagues here actually had Silverfield last and Stein in front of him. Is this show sleeping on Ryan Silverfield? Is it fair that we treated him in that manner?
I think, obviously, the knock on Silverfield is that at Memphis, he had everything you needed to win a championship there. They had one of the richest alumni bases in the American Conference, and they were always either favored or right there to be in the American Conference championship. And they never won it, right? They won 9-10 games, but they never won it, and that's been the knock on him. I think the thing with Silverfield, though, that kind of matches what Arkansas needs right now is that he was consistent every year. They just won. He didn't really lose. Had some bad performances here and there, but you can never say that they had a terrible season. Arkansas, even under Pittman, they had 2 great seasons and then terrible, good, terrible, terrible. That he's going to provide some stability there. Upside in coaching, Will Stein's got it. They're my surprise pick in the SEC this upcoming year. I don't even know if they're going to get to a bowl game, but I'm telling you, they're going to upset someone on the schedule because of the offense, because of some of the weapons they brought in offensively. I mean, they brought in a top 12, I think, transfer class, and they brought in a quarterback in Kenny Minchie, who was legitimately in the battle to be the starter there at Notre Dame last August. And you've seen what Will Stein does with quarterbacks at Oregon previously. This is a very well-respected coach. He's hardcore into it, and he's a Kentucky guy. He's from the state there. He's completely bought in. Will Stein's got more upside right now than Ryan Silverfield. It'll be interesting to watch how those kind of, meld or whatever in those respects at Kentucky, where, is the money and longevity there. And at Arkansas, where if you do have that consistent success under Silverfield for 2 to 3 years, what's the next step? Can you give him more money to be more successful in this day and age?
Nick is complimentary over your right shoulder of your Lego Game Boy. He said,
oh, yeah.
He said he's got one that was a fun build, so he was complimentary of that.
Yeah, my son and I, we like to build Legos together sometimes.
Yeah.
He loves Legos. So my wife got me that one, so I had something to build on Christmas morning while he was building. I can't tell you. My son just builds these things like they're all by himself. I don't even have to help him anymore. So like at some point I just got bored and I had to go build my own thing while he was building his stuff.
See, I'm an old fart. I'm old enough to remember when they didn't even come with instructions. You just got a bag of Legos. You built whatever you wanted, You just had to use your imagination. Then, like, this is a boat. This is a car.
Same here, and I was never into Legos because I couldn't build anything worth the crap. I was the kid who was break the Legos.
That's right.
Trying to fit it into things. That's what I did.
No, but the 4 where the 3 belongs. Yeah.
Exactly.
All right, he is Brandon Marcello. I be Marcello on social media. Read him and see him at CBS Sports. It is always fun catching up with you, Brandon. Thank you for making some time for us today.
All right, see you, man.
All right, buddy, take care. Brandon with us on the Alexander Shinara Trial Attorneys Hotline. He mentioned Will Stein. We'll hear from the Kentucky coach in 1 second. But first, I remind you, Central State Bank is the bank that is big enough to meet every need you have, whether it's buying a car, setting up for school, opening a new business, whatever the case might be, but they are also small enough to know you. Why is that? Because they are a community bank. The people that make the decisions that affect you at Central State Bank are not suits in some other city. They are people that go to church where you go to church. Their kids go to school where you go to school. Same ballparks, all of that at Central State Bank. They are building relationships, and that is what they do for 100 years at Central State Bank. Central State Bank, member FDIC, and Way to Wellness, who have done away, get healthy.
All right, guys, there's a great way to simplify your weight loss in 2026 with my friend Leslie and her board-certified team at Way to Wellness. Visit their website, aplanforme.com, and you'll find out that Way to Wellness has a personalized plan that works and is designed specifically for you. No cookie-cutter plan. Everyone needs something a little different. You may want meal replacements. They've got injection therapy. I use protein bars to keep from bad snacking between meals. The website, again, is aplanforme.com. They have diet plans for diabetes, heart disease, sleep apnea, and a lot more. And listen, there's no contracts, there's no sign-up fees, and your first consultation is free. Go check it out. The website, again, aplanforme.com. It's Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living.
So Brandon Marcello called Will Stein a rising star in coaching and said that is a team that might pull some upsets. They're positioned to pull some upsets this year. They're going to have plenty of chances to do it. We'll look at their schedule in a moment. But first, coming off spring, here's what Will Stein, the former Oregon offensive coordinator, now the head coach of Kentucky, said about the Cats this spring.
I think we made strides for sure. I think there's still things that we have to clean up, just fundamental and technique-wise, understanding of the system. But, I mean, I'm pleased so far. This is, I think I told maybe Pat or something, like when I first got to Oregon, we had Bo Nix, we had a bunch of NFL players. and I felt like I couldn't get a first down. I was like, God dang, like, are we going to be good? And we had the number 2 offense in the country. I'm not saying that is where we are right now, but spring ball, the way that we do things, sometimes it can be like, you're like, are we good? It's like, no, we're good. We have a great system. We have really good players, and that's what these next 4 months are for going into fall.
All right, if he's going to pull an upset, he's going to have plenty of chances. First of all, right out of the chute, week number 2 in Tuscaloosa, against Alabama and Lexington, week number 2. Week number 3 at Texas A&M. Either one of those would be an upset. Feels too quick, frankly. I think most of the time, first coaching year, if you're going to pull an upset, it's going to be later in the season. After a home game against South Alabama, a trip to South Carolina, they play host to LSU Saturday, October 10th. They are at Oklahoma Saturday, October 17th. I guess now Vandy is an upset. They host Vandy at least. I guess that's an upset. They are at Tennessee after a bye week, Saturday, November 7th. They host Florida. They're at Missouri. And they host Louisville. If he's going to pull an upset, they sure have a lot of chances. They will. I'll play Lance's role here. Underdogs against Alabama, at Texas A&M, probably at South Carolina, against LSU, at Oklahoma. I don't know about Vanderbilt. At Tennessee. I don't know about Florida. At Missouri. Against Louisville. There's 7, 8, 9 times where there'll be a betting underdog this season. So if Kentucky is going to pull the upset, they're going to have plenty of chances to throw one out there. So I don't hate the prediction there by Brandon Marcello that, hey, look for them to be maybe one of the upset teams. Now, here's the problem. You're just the games you feel really good about winning. Obviously, Youngstown State, South Alabama, that is it. Once you get past that, you don't feel good about any of these. So even pulling a couple of upsets, this might be like a 4-8, but you get a pelt on the wall, and you've got, pretty good offense, and people can see, hey, this future looks bright. With this schedule, like if he went 6-6 and got them in a bowl game, that guy might be coach of the year in the SEC. You find 6 wins when you're playing Alabama, at A&M, at South Carolina, LSU, at Oklahoma, Vandy, at Tennessee, Florida, at Missouri, and also Louisville at a conference. Man, 6-6 on that schedule, that's a dang good first year for Will Stein. I don't see that being a possibility. I feel like they're probably more of a 4-8 team, and maybe they do pull one of those shockers. But Will Stein, fascinating guy. I put him number 16 in my coaching rankings simply because he's never been a head coach. It was hard to put Ryan Silverfield behind him. I think Silverfield underwhelmed at Memphis, but Silverfield's at least been a head coach before, so it felt kind of weird putting him dead last, having been a head coach. Scott, showing you again our head coaching rankings, and you will notice that Dunaway and Lance did not have the same issue with Ryan Silverfield that I did. They went ahead and put him dead last and put Will Stein at number 15. I just got to see it out of Stein. Everybody else on that list, Pete Golding, it's kind of weird circumstances, but everybody else on that list at least has been a head coach. So let me see what Will Stein can do before I put him anywhere other than number 16. But, boy, I tell you what, I think a lot of people are big on this guy getting Kentucky turned around. We'll see if that happens in the long run. All right, more of the next round to go. Hemp Hill Services brings you part of the show today. Hemp Hill Services is the place to go if it doesn't run right, flow right, or drain right. And, again, I cannot stress enough, with the heat coming to the Deep South, you've got to make sure your HVAC, your air conditioner, is primed and ready to go. You don't want to find out, we got trouble when it's 80 degrees, 90 degrees in your house. 229-2090. That is the number to call, 229-2090, for our friends at Hemp Hill Service. Get them to come out and give it a once-over. Make sure you're ready to go for this hot summer weather that is on the way. And with any issues you have with your plumbing, your HVAC, any issues around the house, Hemp Hill Services, 229-2090. And our guy, Greg, from Pell City.
All right, guys, it's time to take care of your roof with my buddy Greg from Pell City and his wonderful wife, Andrea, a locally owned company for over 20 years. Call Greg's cell number to get a free no-cost roof inspection, 205-542-3531, 205-542-3531, or go to stormrestorationroofing.com or check him out on Facebook, Greg from Pell City. A-plus rated with the Better Business Bureau. They handle storm damage, roof replacements, and Greg even has his builder's license so he can help with that storm damage repair when these big storms blow through. But he'll give you a free no-cost inspection. Get up there and make sure all the The shingles are in place. There's no water entry points around the chimney or other openings up there. Just a good checkup for your roof. And don't forget to ask him about the soft wash program to make your roof look better this spring and summer. It's all right there, locally owned, not a door knocker. He's our buddy, Greg from Pell City. StormRestorationRoofing.com or call his cell number 205-542-3531. Our buddy Greg from Pell City and StormRestorationRoofing.com.
Take the next round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store.
I'm attorney Alexander Shinar, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Sterling and the fine folks at Champy's Chicken on Highway 119 in Alabaster want to welcome you in for a great lunch or dinner starting at 11 a.m. every day. Chicken that's brined overnight and cooked to order, and the taste of the Delta with those Delta recipe tamales. Champy's is perfect for all your tailgating needs this football season. You can also choose Champy's for your next party, wedding, or birthday. Great food, great people. Champy's Chicken on Highway 119 in Alabaster, and everything online at champyschicken.com.
At Central State Bank, we are large enough to serve you and small enough to know you. Manage your money with ease, whether it's mobile banking, hassle-free checking, competitive loans, business solutions, or personalized financial advice. We're your hometown bank with big-time service. Visit us today and experience banking made simple, because at Central State Bank, you come first.
Member FDIC.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090. Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service.
This spring, make it a week the whole family will remember. The Regions Tradition, presented by Coca-Cola, returns to Greystone for championship golf and family fun. Watch legendary players compete, enjoy activities for all ages, and experience the excitement on and off the course. Don't forget to stop by Hole 10 following play on Saturday for a live concert featuring Blues Traveler. This is a week you don't want to miss. April 29th through May 3rd. Get your tickets now.
Birmingham, it's official. The FIFA World Cup Trophy Tour by Coca-Cola is coming to town. On Thursday, May 7th, head to Uptown from 2 to 6 for your chance to get a free photo with the iconic FIFA World Cup Original Trophy. It's a once-in-a-lifetime moment for fans of all ages. Again, Thursday, May 7th at Uptown from 2 to 6. Your chance to get the free photo with the iconic FIFA World Cup Original Trophy. The FIFA World Cup Trophy Tour by Coca-Cola, because fan work is thirsty work.
When you think of Birmingham, it's hardworking people that go out each and every day to provide for their families, and that's how we want our team and our play on the field. Join us April 18th as we take on the Orlando Storm. United we ride.
Ain't no party like a Dega party. The noise, the chaos, the will to survive. The biggest, boldest, brashest, fastest, and most intimidating track in all of NASCAR. Only one place calls that home. At Talladega, anything can happen. And at this super speedway, everything usually does.
Hell yeah, boys!
NASCAR weekend at Talladega Super Speedway, April 24th through the 26th. Get your tickets now at TalladagaSuperspeedway.com.
Joey Freshwater on X says we were too hard on Paradise Season 2. That goes back to the first hour with Luginbill. You can go back and catch everything we have done on demand, either on our YouTube channel, any of our video channels, or those of you that catch us on audio podcast. Please set your automatic downloads and subscribe everywhere. Subscribe on YouTube. Give us a thumbs up. Set your alerts so you know when we're live. And audio on demand, just set the automatic download so it downloads every day. All those things help us. He said he doesn't understand the hate. He loved it. The time travel aspect, see, that's a bit of a spoiler. I was unaware there was a time travel aspect, but that's actually a guilty pleasure of mine, time travel movies. Random TV series I loved as a teenager, Quantum Leap. Did you like it, Tyler?
I've seen a few episodes of the OG. Scott Bakula.
Scott Bakula and Dean Stockwell, I believe, is the guy's, the other actor. There were just basically two main cast members. And I've always liked time travel movies, whether it's Back to the Future.
Good pull with Dean Stockwell.
How about that? That's how big a fan I was. No, I loved Quantum Leap.
You never wanted the next leap to be the journey home, or the next leap to be the one home.
That's right. I always wanted to keep it going. I wanted to keep it going. But it was just a cool concept for a TV show as a kid, I remember. Now, I'm not going back and watch it. I may like to go back and watch them and see if they were still as good as I remember them being. Sometimes that stuff doesn't hold up, but I liked Quantum Leap as a kid.
They did a reboot of it.
Yeah, I think I remember watching it. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna stick with the old one in my mind. I'm not gonna watch the reboot because I don't think it lasted very long. So I say all that to say the time travel aspect, maybe I give it a shot. He says it gives him leftover Lost vibes. Season 1, 83% on Rotten Tomatoes. Season 2, 90%. So it increased on Rotten Tomatoes, which is not common, right?
What's not common?
Year to year, increasing on Rotten Tomatoes, like year over year. Is that common? Is that a good vote of confidence?
That's more uncommon in streaming shows.
Yeah, it's a vote of confidence right there. So there you go. That goes back to our time with Tom Luginbill, who, by the way, will be co-hosting with me again on Thursday. We'll talk more draft with him on Thursday when he joins us on the show. We'll talk about some of the prospects in the first round there. He's been working on those as well. Some breaking news in the show today, a couple things, and it's one former Florida Gator and one current Florida Gator, and they're not necessarily connected, these two stories. But Thomas Houck is returning to the Florida Gators. This is a guy that was thought to be a lottery pick who will come back and play for the Florida Gators. Now, Todd Golden's name has been mentioned perhaps as the next coach of the Golden State Warriors, but he is still the coach at Florida. And he will have maybe the number one team in the country when it is all said and done after the transfer portal settles out and we start putting out preseason polls. Don't be surprised if the Florida Gators are right there at the very top with Houck coming back. That's a lottery pick level guy that will be coming back and playing for the Florida Gators. Many people are pointing to that, saying Todd Golden ain't going anywhere. He's got the NIL backing he needs. Why go coach at Golden State and have to rebuild that franchise when you've got it cooking at Florida already? A national championship, a 1 seed. They were out earlier than anticipated, obviously, in this year's tournament. But when you bring those two guys, you bring back Houck and the players that they are bringing back at Florida, that's going to be a tremendous basketball team next season. Now, the other story I was referencing is the fact that today Billy Donovan has said he is stepping away from coaching the Chicago Bulls. Some were connecting the dots there with the Todd Golden story and Billy Donovan. Obviously, if that happens, Florida will not miss a beat. Billy Donovan's a spectacular coach, and I have no doubt that he could come right back and come close to replicating what he did the first go around at Florida. With the state of that program right now and that roster that he would have this year, just dropping Billy Donovan in on a team that might be preseason number one, I would think that would be easily one of the best moves in the nation. So Billy Donovan is stepping away from the Chicago Bulls. We'll see what that means for his long-term future, but that is a big story in sports today. We'll see where Billy Donovan lands. In case you haven't paid attention, his first year as the Oklahoma City Thunder head coach, they made the Western Conference Finals. Obviously a very good season. He has coached 10 years since then at both Oklahoma City and the Chicago Bulls. And in those 10 years, 5 of those years were a first-round exit. 5 of those years were a complete miss of the playoffs.
Ryan, do you remember what happened in the postseason his first year with OKC?
So they made the Western Conference Finals and
blew a 3-1 lead to the Golden State Warriors.
Full circle.
Kevin Durant left in the offseason and went to Golden State.
And he's never been the same. 3-1 lead. So Durant.
So he left Florida to take the Oklahoma City job after Oklahoma City couldn't get over the hump. They went to the finals, lost to LeBron and D Wade in the Heat, and then had that great roster of, a superstar tandem with some pieces around him, and was one win away from making the NBA Finals in his very first season and blew a 3-1 lead to the Warriors. And then Kevin Durant leaves in the offseason.
So that was the Draymond, Klay Thompson, Steph Curry Warriors before Durant got out there, which was the best team potentially in the NBA. They were up 3-1. I'd forgotten that aspect of it. I knew they made the Western Conference Finals. I did not remember that aspect. Well, he's never recovered, Brooks. He's missed the playoffs or gone out in the first round since then. That's why I say I just don't know where else in the NBA he's going to go.
You just wonder, though, how his career would have gone in the NBA if they win that one game and go to the NBA Finals. Does Kevin Durant ever leave? There's just a lot hinged on that moment with his NBA coaching career.
Our friend Connor O'Gara, by the way, Connor O'Gara, host of the OG Football Podcast, which you can get as part of our family here, both video and audio, same place you get our show, the OG Podcast, and It Just Meant More. He and Will Ogburn do a great job with It Just Meant More, which looks back at some of the great games in SEC football history. And the OG Podcast, which talks college football all the time. You get it wherever you get our show, same exact places you get our show. This is Connor's tweet. There's preseason hype, and then there's whatever Florida basketball is about to endure. And I kind of agree with him. This is going to be viewed as your unanimous number one team in college football, or college basketball, I think, going into next season. And the hype is going to be off the charts. National championship, 1 seed, and then this team, this is going to be, like Connor said, beyond whatever your normal preseason hype is. So that's what's going on right now in college basketball. As the portal closes tonight, by the way, that decision from Thomas Houck comes as the portal closes tonight, midnight tonight. As of this morning, around 8:30 Central Time, Jeff Goodman of the Field of 68 tweeted that there were 2,541 players in the portal. The deadline to get into the portal, you have to have your paperwork in, is tonight. That does not mean you've got to make your decision tonight. There's still plenty of time to make a decision. You just have to declare your intentions by midnight tonight. There is also a 48-hour window where that paperwork can sometimes sit and slow down, and then you find out maybe. So don't be surprised, even though it is midnight tonight, if Thursday or Friday you're hearing a name that's in the portal. You're like, wait a minute, I thought that was the deadline. They could have had their paperwork in. Sometimes there's a 48-hour allowance to process the paperwork. So sometimes those notices come out a little bit slower than others. So you'll still see some. But by and large, I think the portal is about as full as it's going to get. 2,500 people in. If you hadn't made your decision now, you've waited a very long time. But
only 5 people can be on the court at one time.
It's wild. You've got like LSU. That's a team with a pretty notable coach, and they, up until the Mo Diabate transfer, were without a player. So you got some teams that don't even have a player for next year. So they are completely building from scratch. So keep an eye on that. That all ends at midnight tonight. All right, Inverness Country Club. I'll be out there a little bit later on today. Look forward to it. You can make it your club home in Birmingham as well. If you're looking for a club home, our friends at Inverness Country Club, the place to go. Just about, and I'm telling you, this is so true, just about every day I go out there, ICCalabama.com is where you can see more. ICCalabama.com. Just about every day I go out there, I see someone on a tour with our friend Aaron. And if you want to set up the tour, you can find all the information at ICCalabama.com or simply call 205-991-8608. 205-991-8608 or ICCalabama.com. Great course, great clubhouse, great food. The resort-style pool is tremendous, and you could be a member at all of that. They're also updating the tennis clubhouse as well, so you can get that updated tennis clubhouse. That's our friends at Inverness Country Club, ICCalabama.com, ICCalabama.com, and Jim Dunaway in moments is going to tell us about our friends at the Talladega Super Speedway with NASCAR coming to town this weekend. You could be a part of it.
It's time to go racing again. Over in Talladega, the Jack Links 500 weekend is coming up Friday, April 24th through Sunday, April 26th. The big race, the Jack Links 500, is that Sunday with all the Cup superstars on the world's fastest speedway. Exciting, unpredictable. That's what you always get with the biggest stars of NASCAR when they come to Talladega again for the Jack Links 500. And you can get your tickets right now by going to the TalladegaSuperspeedway.com, TalladegaSuperspeedway.com, or buy your tickets calling 877-GO-TO-DEGA. That's 877-462-3342. And don't forget to add on to your experience with the most immersive garage experience in NASCAR. That features access to the NASCAR Cup Series Garage Bay viewing areas, pre-race ceremonies, driver questions and answer sessions, and of course, Mobile One Victory Lane trophy and photos. You'll be up close and personal for all the action. It's Jack Link's 500 weekend at Talladega coming up Sunday, April the 26th. Buy your tickets right now at 877-GO-TO-DEGA or TalladegaSuperspeedway.com.
All right, before we get out of here, let's go to Brooks. Brooks and Scott and Tyler do a tremendous job at everything they do. You see a lot of Brooks, all of their work on social media. Follow us everywhere at Next Round Live, at Next Round Live on Facebook, on Instagram, on X, on TikTok. But Brooks has put out a lot of graphics, and they always get a wild reaction, Brooks. So what have you pissed people off with today? Give me why people are pissed at Brooks today.
So yesterday, we've been in the midst of a series where we've been posting each of the SEC teams' records versus current SEC teams since the turn of the millennium in 2000.
Gets tricky with Texas A&M, Missouri, Texas, and Oklahoma.
It does, but it's still interesting.
Yeah, they still have a record, whether they were an SEC team or not. They still played some.
Well, in all four of those teams, I thought it would be fair to do this since 2000 because all four of those teams were in the same conference together for the first, 11 or 12 seasons of the decades or of the century. So A&M was the seventh team I've done. They were the first of the new four members in the last 13 years. But A&M fans are not happy with this. Saying it's a cherry-picked stats, saying that we specifically chose since 2000 because it would make them look bad.
Your record is what your record is. I'm sorry.
Why did you pick 2000, Brooks? Such a random year.
It's just a random year.
What is my baby mama's, my wife, said, what is the logic behind including the 2000s? They were in the Big 12 for 12 seasons during that time.
Yeah.
Saying it was one of the worst eras in Aggie football. And, so...
For a moment, I did not realize you were reading a tweet, and I thought you just referred to your wife as your baby mama.
No,
that's a sweet screen name.
Yes, that is.
His handle is at Stoned Observer.
Okay, there you go.
So that's always fun. So yeah, A&M fans are upset about that. They got really dunked on pretty hard by Longhorn fans. Billy Lucci, our one of our friends from TexAgs, quote tweeted it, talking about how it was not really applicable anymore, so he maybe fueled the fire of upset Aggie fans.
Yeah, I think he pointed out what was their record over the last 2 years, which is really good against SEC opponents.
It is really good, but they've also played a home schedule the last 2 years where they just flipped the opponents last season from the year before, and they've avoided who on that schedule? Georgia, Alabama, they've avoided all the big boys.
Georgia, by the way, guys, has still never played in College Station. You all realize that, right?
I tell you what's worse.
They've been in the league since 2012. Now, the one they were supposed to go out there COVID year, and they had to rearrange the schedule, to be entirely fair. But still, it's pretty crazy. They've been in the league since 2012, and Georgia has not gone out there.
Well, look at how about the one on the graphic? The opponent they've played the least is Kentucky, and they've been in the same conference with them for 13 years, and you've played them one time. What are we doing?
I guess that was probably also a COVID year schedule, wouldn't you think?
I think no. I think it was in 2019 or something like that that they played that.
How would they have only played them once though, and not had a home and home?
Because they redid the schedule.
That's what I'm saying. The COVID year. That's what I'm saying. The COVID year prevented them from having the second game. Was my point.
Maybe. I want to say that wasn't it on a 13-year rotation or something like that?
It's much better now with 9 games. I know the coaches don't like 9 games, and I understand why, but it is much better with the 9 games.
And then here locally, another post that got some some annoyed people yesterday was we put out a post about the new massive front court from the Auburn Tigers.
It is big, bunch of 7-footers.
They've got Owen Freeman, who came in from Creighton. He's 6'10", and then we've got 3 guys whose names I'm not going to pronounce. They're all kind of over the board. The French guy, Nagoy.
Sure? I thought you weren't going to pronounce them.
I'll say their last names. They
Okay.
seem to be a little easier. A boy from Santa Clara, and then coming back is a Mecca Opurum.
Yeah.
All 7-footers, and just put that post out there. Alabama fans attacking the comments, saying Auburn is looking forward for another run in the NIT with this front line.
All right. That's a big front line. They'll be the biggest team in the NIT if they get there.
I will say I think Stephen Pirtle has done a really good job in the portal.
Well, I agree with you, and I think Stephen Pearl clearly has identified they need to be big on the front line, and we'll see if that works. I mean, obviously he's identified that, and they've gone out and they've gotten some length.
And just knowing how our audience works, I'm not saying that Nate Oates isn't doing a good job in the portal either.
No, I think both of them have done well.
But I've been surprised at how well Auburn has done in the portal.
Okay. What do you have coming out today? What's going to piss people off today?
Well, we just dropped the next team in our series, Tennessee. Since 2000.
That Alabama number ain't going to be good.
Alabama and Auburn. 1-7 the Auburn Tigers. Tennessee is to the Auburn Tigers.
Wow.
Auburn has owned it, and that's not a game they've played very frequently. So, with Auburn and Alabama fans, if you want to go have an easy dunk on social media today, we just put one out for you with Tennessee football's record versus current SEC opponents since 2000.
By the way, to finish up the Georgia-Texas A&M conversation, Georgia's scheduled to go to A&M in 2027. So they finally will make that first trip to College Station next football season. So we could quit talking about how Georgia has never been to College Station, which is a popular discussion. They will go next football season in 2027. All right, show brought to you, this hour brought to you every single day by our friends at Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken, champy'schicken.com, champy'schicken.com. Sterling and the crew there serving you a great lunch, those Mississippi Delta recipe tamales, those hand-breaded chicken tenders, the great po' boys, the sides, the drinks slung by Megan there in the bar, all right there at Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken, Highway 119 in Alabaster, champy'schicken.com, champy'schicken.com. All right, so Brooks will have all of that out at Next Round Live. Scott and Tyler will have things out from the show today, both at Next Round Live and on TNR Clips. That's another YouTube channel of ours. We ask you to go subscribe to that, TNR Clips, and subscribe everywhere on our normal YouTube channel, audio on demand, everywhere. Please subscribe. Set your alerts on YouTube. Set your automatic downloads on audio on demand. Give us a thumbs up everywhere you watch us. Share us as much as you can on social media. That is very much appreciated. And we always thank you for being with us. Tomorrow's show, Mick Gillespie going to be filling in with me. We'll talk to our buddy Connor O'Gara, part of the OG podcast, and It Just Meant More as well. More college football, NFL draft, and a lot more on the show tomorrow. Have a great afternoon. Thank you for joining us on The Next Round. We'll see you tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock.